gentlemen, this is a sober Michael Burhan for today's episode of I Got Gameplay, and welcome everyone. Welcome. You know, we have that rather Christmas feeling today, that pit in your stomach, you know, the feeling where you've had too much turkey and you're going to explode. That is the Christmas feeling today, and today we're going to be talking Christmas gaming. But it won't just be Christmas games themselves, of course. We're going to be talking about stuff like Die Hard, and Christmas movies like Die Hard, and loads of other stuff to do with Die Hard, because it's an awesome movie. Now, let's go to our host today, of course. And tonight, we don't have Zach Latour tonight and Carla DiPietro from Getting Your Nerd On. Hopefully, one or either will be coming onto the show today, depending on what happens. I know they both have a very busy schedule, so hopefully they'll be back for next week's show. But today, who we do have? We have a returning member of the I Got Gameplay group. Of course, the founding member of the show with myself, Sean Mitchell, and Nick Abrams. He is Braden, Mr. Spoo Beast himself, Mayhew.
Always glad to be back, Burhan. Always a pleasure. I mean, how could I miss a holiday episode?
Yeah, how can you?
It has to be crazy to miss that kind of holly jolly atmosphere.
Exactly.
100%.
Holly jolly, deck the halls, yada yada yada. We also have Mr. 90s video game kid, 90s kid. There we go. Mr. Miguel Leon, of course. Miguel. Miguel's kind of speechless by my amazing voice.
Your amazing introduction, I think, has left people stunned. I
know, I think he is stunned. We also have, of course, Mr. Excess Gaming Podcast himself, and a very, very busy man this week, because he's just doing, he's everywhere, of course. He's at the anime conventions, he's at the he's basically on his vlogs and stuff on his gaming YouTube channel as well, which you can check out at nerdgenius.com, and also on YouTube itself. Mr. Xander, I am so awesome, Scullion.
Oh, thanks for the introduction. I Get Gameplay, a podcast so badass you might put your eye out.
Exactly. Everyone on I Got Gameplay has a badass. Our asses are so bad we can stink up a room. Now, one thing...
I don't think anybody would want to visit it then.
Yeah, very true. Unless, well, I have a story, but I'll tell it later. Of course, Xander, you're doing a chiptune thing at the moment as well. You're composing for a game. Do you want to let us in a little bit about that?
Well, I'm still in the talks with that, so I can't release too much. But of course, I'm still working on my it's like a fictional video game album, where pretty much what I'm doing is I'm making a collection of video game music for a fictional video game that I'm pretty much the listeners, when they listen to it, they can picture the kind of game that they would want it to be. And right now I'm looking for more like an RPG feel. So if you like, SNES, early PlayStation RPG soundtracks, definitely check it out. I'm still working on it though.
Are you going to be releasing it on iTunes and Spotify and stuff like that?
I don't know yet. Right now it's just all on Reverb Nation. You can just go on Reverb Nation and type in Xander Scullion and it'll come up.
Awesome. So check that out, guys. Hopefully he will get an album distributor, because I really want to see that love that you have and the passion that you have for the album to go into something bigger. But we will talk. I have a record label, so we can powwow, of course. And today as well, we have the gentleman himself. He was kind of at threat, but he's now feeling kind of at ease. He is Mr. Rose-Colored Reviews himself, Travis Goss.
Hey, how's it going, party people?
Woo!
Jingle bells.
I was listening to a bunch of music before we got onto the show, so yeah, I'm kind of jazzed up right now.
Can anybody hear me, by the way?
Yes, we can hear you now, Miguel.
Oh, thank God. I was wondering why nobody was picking up on my funny comments during the pre-show, and I just figured, I guess they don't want me to talk into it, but apparently nobody heard me.
No, if we heard you, we'd probably be laughing
until now.
Yeah, I had some good zingers there, but yeah. By the way, when you first introduced me, I was just like, bah humbug, but no one heard it.
I'll do it anyway.
Yeah, no, it's a momentary thing. It's you got to be there to do it, really.
Bah humbug.
Well, I want to put out an urgent call now. I just got Pokemon Y, and I'm already on 110 Pokemon. I've just been on a journey trying to actually trade my Pokemon, and whoever has a Ditto, call in, because I can see if I can do a trade with you guys. I've got a Fennon, I've got a Squirtle, I've got a Charmander. Get me that Ditto, people.
Yeah, but to be fair, though, there's like 700 Pokemon out there.
Hey,
having 100 Pokemon before you even started is not impressive. If it's
don't underplay my work, Miguel. Don't underplay my work, okay?
You still haven't got that Ditto?
I still haven't got a Ditto, no.
A dildo.
Everyone wants to trade their Ditto for a Poker God. It's ridiculous.
What?
A Poker God.
One of the legendaries?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't have a legendary on me at the moment, so there's nothing I can do about that. But speaking of legendary, let's go on to something which part of our show is always legendary in itself. That is our news section. To the incoherent Miguel Leon, what's in the news this week?
I'm a little bit upset with Rift Tracks. I know that's not game-based, but I'm just a little annoyed by them.
Oh, why's that?
I'm looking at their top 10 worst movies of 2013 list. It's a voted list. I'm a little bit disappointed with people. They put Iron Man 3 at number 5. I really like that movie.
Yeah.
Well, I liked Iron Man 3. But then again, I also liked Iron Man 2. Even though I will admit it was kind of a weak film, I liked it.
Iron Man 3 should have been a James Bond movie.
You know what? I thought it was all right. I mean, it was a Shane Black directed movie. That's kind of his thing. He's more of a dialogue director. He's very much more about the snappy comebacks and stuff like that. I wouldn't say he's a great action director per se, but I liked Iron Man 3. I thought the end sequence was pretty good. But I mean, number 5 out of 10. It got more votes for worst movie than Scary Movie 5, Die Hard 5, R.I.P.D., Man of Steel, and The Lone Ranger. That's just I gotta shake my head at that.
Die Hard 5 was the worst movie of the year, I think, because that was so fucking over the top and ridiculous, and it was no call for it.
The movie's called Die Hard 5. Of course, there's going to be over the top. As soon as you rent out a movie called Die Hard, if you're looking for a story-driven drama, then, that's not going to be your thing.
Yeah, but come on. Worse than Scary Movie 5, really? Are we just... I don't understand that. How can anything be worse than Scary Movie 5?
Wait, it's worse than Scary Movie 5?
Scary Movie 5 is at number 6.
That's gay.
Yeah,
I can't believe it was rated lower than The Lone Ranger, of all things. What?
Lone Ranger was terrible. Lone Ranger was bad. That was a bad movie. Man of Steel is worse, though.
But that was Jerry Bruckheimer's, measuring stick for his penis.
No. That whole... Do you want to know, actually, the story about Lone Ranger? There's actually a really fun story about that.
All right, go for it.
The whole reason that movie was around is because of Pirates 4. I forget. Disney, I believe, was the company that made it. They wanted Johnny Depp. They wanted Johnny Depp back for Pirates 4 because he signed a 3-picture deal for the first 3 movies and didn't want to come back for it. So they told him, we'll make any movie you want. Just tell us if you come back for Pirates 4. And he said, I want to play Tonto in The Lone Ranger. And so they were like, all right. So they got Gore Verbinski and they got Jerry Bruckheimer to come in, and that whole movie was basically made just to get Johnny Depp back to play Jack Sparrow in Pirates 4.
So basically, it was Johnny Depp's wet dream.
Yes.
Pretty much. I mean,
3 hours of it.
Pretty much. I mean, that's why the majority of the story is mostly about Tonto and less about the Lone Ranger. Armie Hammer basically plays sidekick to his own sidekick in that movie. It's a Johnny Depp Tonto film.
Okay, does Depp's annoyingness in this movie get anywhere near his Willy Wonka performance?
So basically, this movie was another Battlefield Earth.
Not so much, because Travolta, I believe, did Travolta direct that movie? Yeah, Travolta directed Battlefield Earth, didn't he?
No, he was producing it. He didn't direct it.
Yeah, I guess you could say the
It was one of those, because it was his vanity project. It's the only reason why he signed up, because what happened was, the studio behind it, and I was like checking this out. A friend of mine,
Franchise Pictures, I believe, was
yeah,
the company.
Oliver Hughes, shout out to you, my friend. He basically got me onto a guy who was talking about the Franchise Pictures, where this company was basically put together by a dry cleaner. This dude, like, he earned his millions doing dry cleaning and stuff and picking up clothes and stuff in LA. And what he did was, he got actors to sign on for him for a lowball deal and said, we'll make any picture that you want. Sign with us, waive your fee, your big fee that you usually have, and we'll make any movie that you want to make. And basically that was, you know, his wet dream, and he decided to do it. The movie was critically panned because it was a piece of shit. And there we go. So that's Johnny Depp's Battlefield Earth. If I was Johnny Depp, I would really rethink my career at this point and decide what I'm going to do next.
There's always Tim Burton. Tim Burton will always be there.
Yeah, but at the same level with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I think he needs to distance himself a little bit from Burton. In a sense, they've worked too much together, and you're starting to see what characters he plays with Burton and what Burton does with him all the time. And it's literally him playing the same character.
Well, I've always said my biggest gripe with Tim Burton is that he made Nightmare Before Christmas and then never stopped.
Yeah. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And it's gotten to the point now where it's just like, Burton, please, just stop.
I mean, let's go back to early 90s Burton when you got stuff like Beetlejuice. That movie's awesome.
Yeah, now they're making Beetlejuice too.
88.
Guess who's going to be playing the wife in that instead of Gina Davis?
Let me just ask, are they going with the Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian script?
No. But guess who's going to be playing the wife instead of Gina Davis?
Must we go tropical?
Do you want to guess?
I'm not even going to try.
I want to try.
Wait, no. I can try. If it's Tim Burton, Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Of course. Of course.
So his missus is going to be basically playing another character, and again, she needs to stay away from his movies, because every time she plays a movie, then now it's just the same crazy, kooky English whore character that she always plays.
The only movie I've ever seen Helena Bonham Carter in that wasn't a Tim Burton movie was Fight Club, and I think she was awesome in that movie.
Yeah, she was awesome in that movie, then she didn't stop. Guys, we've got a caller in from the 661 area code, so let's get them on. Caller, you are live on air.
Hello.
Hello, caller, you on I Got Gameplay.
Frank here.
Hello, Frank, how's it going?
Well, I'm falling. Oh, fuck you son of a bitch.
I think you might have the wrong number about.
Yeah, I think so. Frank thought that we were sleeping with his wife. Collectively, Frank, we don't sleep with someone's wife. But thank you anyway.
And thank you for being a douche.
Oh, I knew that this was gonna. I knew you were taking a risk with that one, man. But yeah, going back to the list, man. All right, Lone Ranger, fine. I hated Man of Steel. Hated it. I was insulted by R.I.P.D. That movie could have been good, but it just had nothing going on with it. Have either of you guys ever seen that movie?
No. Can you let me know why it's so terrible?
It tries so hard to be Men in Black. I mean, it's basically a full rip of Men in Black, except replace aliens with ghosts. But Ryan Reynolds and Jeff Bridges have no chemistry with each other.
Oh, never mind. I did see it.
Yeah, that movie was just... Kevin Bacon was all right as the villain. I thought he camped it up really good, and Jeff Bridges is Jeff Bridges.
I have to admit, Kevin Bacon in any role just plays it so well. In X-Men First Class, he was amazing. I loved him in that movie. I thought his whole sort of German kind of sort of like head of the Hellfire Club and stuff, it really worked so well. I enjoyed it so much. And I think putting him in any like villainous role is always golden. Now what we're going to do... Yeah,
even in Hollow Man.
Even in Hollow Man.
Yeah.
A role that Christian Slater then took and crapped all over. Anyway, let's steer away from the movies and stuff, and let's talk about games. So do you have any gaming news for us, Miguel?
I have a tab open. Hold on, let me check real quick. I'm just cycling through my tabs. I do have one bit of news, and trust me, I tried looking for stuff, and there's very little this week. It's been kind of a quiet week. But Nintendo announced their newest iteration in the Legend of Zelda franchise.
Yeah.
Spin-off title. It's going to be Hyrule Warriors. It's going to be Team Koei's going to be making it, and it's going to be a Dynasty Warriors style game set in the Legend of Zelda world.
Yeah, I'm so happy about this. And everybody out there, including some hedgehogs, were sitting there saying they're making a new Legend of Zelda game, they're making a new Legend of Zelda game. Well, here is your new Legend of Zelda game for now. It's not an official Legend of Zelda game. This is I believe this is the first time that they've allowed the Zelda license to be used by a third party. Am I wrong?
To be fair, though, I do think that technically. I don't know who developed Wand of Gamelon, though.
Oh, no, I mean a good Zelda game by a third party.
Well, we don't know. We don't know. Hyrule Warriors hasn't come out yet, so I'm not gonna say much about it. But I will say this though: the Dynasty Warriors gameplay style is really built that you can pretty much put most franchises in there. I mean, it basically is just throwing a bunch of enemies at you, and you just hacking and slashing. I mean, you could take any franchise and kind of staple it onto there. So
I creamed my shorts when I was looking at that trailer, by the way. I don't know if anyone else did.
you know, I was thinking what would be really, really cool is if they had it almost like a Four Swords co-op type of option where you could have like 4 different links going at once. That would be awesome. Yeah, online, of course.
Okay.
That would actually be pretty fun. I'm not going to lie.
For me, I'll be basically sitting there playing. I'll be going like, Xander, go to the left, go to the left, go to the left.
Yeah.
And then I'll die.
But you know what was so funny about it was, you know, I have to say real quick that I feel like that it's popular right now to just hate Nintendo.
Yes.
Because you know, we're talking about this new Zelda game, we're talking about how hyped we are about it, but there were a lot of people that were really pissed off about it. And at first, I think a lot of it at first was people were thinking that this was like the new Zelda, and everyone's like, what the hell? Even though when Wind Waker HD was coming out, they made a mention that they were making a new Zelda game that was going to be a totally different format than we've ever played. And this is totally different.
Yeah.
So it really didn't surprise me. I was just like, oh, well, this is interesting. But the thing is people were pissed off about it. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. You know, it's something different, like they said it was going to be, so why are you pissed? And I was like, and by the way, you would still be pissed off if it was a Zelda game with the same formula. Then they would go back to that, you know, corner being like, oh, it's just, you know, another Zelda, you know, recycled again with the whole water temple and blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's just popular to hate Nintendo.
No, I'm going to kind of go, kind of side on that regard. I do think that the Zelda franchise as a whole has kind of been spinning its wheels. I think it has kind of been borrowing too much from Ocarina of Time as the years have gone by. I will give Wind Waker credit. That was a bold move to go in that direction, and I think Twilight Princess was okay because it kind of brought the franchise back to its roots post Wind Waker. But I think it's more of just franchise fatigue with Nintendo. People are just tired of seeing the same games being set up on the forefront. I think what Nintendo needs is a new franchise. They need to get Miyamoto out there and come up with a new mascot, something out there that can really spice things up. Because
I disagree. You know, look at the new games Nintendo has released, right? All the new games, most of the new games in the Wii U are new titles. It's only now that the core titles like Mario 3D World, that was a new spin on a current sort of character. People went crazy for it. It boosted Wii U sales. People are waiting Mario Kart 4. Mario Kart 8, sorry. People are awaiting the next Zelda title. People want to see these franchises that Nintendo are known for. If Nintendo steer away from them, people are going to be bitching that there's no core titles there for them.
I don't think you need to steer away from them. I just think you need just something new, something to spice things up. You know, the last new franchise that they've really introduced was Pikmin. That was the last
on the GameCube.
Yeah, that was it. I do think, or at least put more emphasis on a new character, I'm still. Have they announced if they're coming out with another Kid Icarus game on the main consoles? Because I don't remember the last one.
Haven't. But I want to say, you were saying Pikmin being the last new franchise that Nintendo came up with. Did you guys already forget about the Wonderful 101?
That's what I was actually going to talk about in a second. Wonderful
what?
101. Wonderful 101. It's a third-party developer, but it is a Nintendo franchise.
It's also kind of in the same vein as Pikmin, though, in the terms of the style of how you play. There's probably core differences, but it's a similar type of game.
Yep.
I wish they would just bring back Beautiful Joe.
That's a Capcom franchise.
Yeah, I know.
I want to see a new Duck Hunt, for Christ's sake, even if it's like a eShop game.
I agree.
Duck Dynasty Duck Hunt.
It will sell. It will sell.
Yeah, that
happy.
But that's again, like the Monster Hunter franchise, when they brought that out exclusively to the Wii U and 3DS, people went apeshit over it. And the fact is, Nintendo are doing the right thing at the moment. They're doing a nice little blend of core titles and new titles as well in the mix with it, and that's what people want.
I actually have to disagree on that, because have you heard about all the fury over Bayonetta being announced as a Wii U exclusive?
Yeah, but that's because all the Bayonetta fans don't want it restricted to that console. They want it as a timed exclusive when they don't understand, and this is what Angry Joe kind of recanted on as well, that he was upset, but Nintendo are the ones that are paying for development. Without Nintendo in the mix, the game would never have been developed in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of okay with that. I don't mind it. I mean, it's fine that Nintendo gets one solid exclusive. Good on them. I know, but it kind of just shows that people are starting to get actually the opposite effect with exclusives. In the age where the previous console generation, you almost started to see an end of exclusivity outside of the second and first generation exclusives. You rarely saw big budget third party titles being exclusive, and I think if we could start going back to that, there's going to be a backlash.
Well, look what happened with the Metal Gear Solid 5, that game. That game was supposed to be an exclusive on the Xbox One, then became a timed exclusive. Now it's not even an exclusive at all. It's going to be released on all formats when it's released, they flushed it out. And that shows you how there's this fear at the moment, this constant fear from game developers that if they restrict their core titles to one console, it's not going to work for them. And look at the what's going on currently with. I'm just trying to think who else. Well, look what's going on currently with the Ouya. They're doing the same thing as well. They're trying to get first-party titles for their system, but they're only putting them as timed exclusives. So they're giving people $20,000. They're like, we'll match your Kickstarter campaign to make your game on our system a timed exclusive.
Yeah, but the biggest problem with the Ouya is that their whole system is based around Android.
Yeah.
And Android is such a huge, vast ocean of a market. It's going to be really hard for them to cut their own niche within Android, even with the timed exclusives, because, I mean, what's the really big incentive with making a game specifically for the Ouya hardware when you could just make a game that works for all of Android that's just as successful?
The problem is, though, I think there's a difference between the portable Android devices like mobiles and Ouya, which itself is still a console. And that's where people kind of differ in a sense. But again, I'm not against this. I think some consoles need to have exclusives, others not so much. The Dead Rising 3, how successful that game was on the Xbox One launch. It did its thing because it's managing to help sales of the console, and it's pushing their Microsoft's next-gen counterpart into the forefront here, where Sony is kind of lacking in terms of their first-party titles. So
actually, they're going more the route of second-party. They're striking deals with other companies to make games for them to produce. They're not so much making them, but they're putting their production label on a lot of titles to keep them as a Sony exclusive.
But it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think it's a fine idea. I mean, Microsoft just kind of cuts the middleman out and just buys up these companies.
Yeah, and
they can afford it.
What I was going to say though is, I personally really like exclusives because I think that's what adds competition to the consoles. You know, like think about, you know, back in the day, you know, Sega had Sonic, Mario was on Nintendo, and it was just kind of like it kind of made it more of a choice of what system you wanted to get. You know, it kind of made it more fun to decide what console you wanted to get.
To be fair, though, I think really where exclusives really shined their head out was during the PS2 era. I think that's when it became a real dick-waving contest in terms of, you know, our consoles have this, well, our consoles have this. You didn't really see that much in the Sega Nintendo era because there weren't many outside of whatever Nintendo and Sega were producing themselves. Most games that came out did have Genesis and Super NES ports. Very few. Even the only real difference was that some games were censored more than others, you know, i.e. Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, it was definitely, you know, back then it was fun. You know, it was fun. Yeah.
That's the thing as well, and that's what we've got to look at. In terms of what Nintendo's doing with the new Hyrule Warriors game, I like it. I think it's going to be a great idea, and I can't wait for it.
Could be fun.
So you got any more news for us, Miguel?
I got one more bit of news. I'm just going to say the title, and I'll let you guys go from there. Yoshi's Island themed DLC coming to Sonic Lost World.
I love that. I love that idea, and I think it's extremely awesome that they're doing it.
I'll say this though, in terms of the crossover, I don't think I would have ever thought Yoshi and Sonic. Yoshi's always been kind of the odd man out in terms of the Nintendo franchises. You know, he's that one franchise player that you think should get as many more games as he has, but he hasn't really gotten that many times to shine on his own. You know, usually
I'll agree with that.
I think this pretty much confirms that Sonic is secretly a second-party character. They just haven't come out and admit it yet.
Yeah.
I'll say this: if that's the case, I'm more than happy. I think, as much as I love Sonic Team, I think the time has come. They need to kind of hand the reins over to Nintendo. Then
I would agree.
Xbox Fanboy has basically been saying something at the moment in terms of the Nintendo argument that we were talking about a minute ago. He goes, I'd hate on Nintendo, but I haven't bothered with Nintendo 60 and 64. Yeah, there's a reason why you're called Xbox Fanboy, so I can understand that. But what doesn't Sony have? Come March, Xbox Ones are going to fly off the shelf. Sony has nothing that can match up to Titanfall. As of the Ouya, the Ouya is now priced at $59.99. Is that true? Has that gone down in price?
So they're about where the Dreamcast was before they died, to be honest.
I think, I mean, I read that story on I think it was on joystick.com, but I think it was just because of the holidays, I think they just marked it down for a limited time.
Okay, so it's probably just to boost sales of the Ouya itself.
Probably.
But I think we'll agree to disagree, though, in terms of Xbox Fanboy's comment. I do agree that the Xbox One is going to probably outsell the Sony PS4 come the time Titanfall comes out, because that's the first party that, we want to see. It has been stated as well that Titanfall is going to be a Xbox 360 title as well, so I'm sticking with my 360 for now. I really, really want to buy an Xbox One for Dead Rising 3, but at the moment it's that's the only title I want from there. The same goes for the PS4. There's not really, I was going to buy it for Watch Dogs. When they laid that kind of put the nail in the coffin for me on that console. It's like, okay, I'm going to wait until more core titles have come out. The only console I've actually purchased on release day and waited for other titles to come out on was the Wii U. And the reason being was it wasn't my first party console. That console was my second party console. It's made its way to being my first party console because of the amount of great games that have been released currently. So for all you guys who own a PS4 and Xbox One, grin and bear with it. We have to do it with Nintendo, grin and bear with it, and wait for your games to come out. But I do believe that the Xbox One has a slight advantage over the PS4 at this point in time, because of the amount of release titles that have come with that console. Xbox Fanboy says that Respawn aren't making a 360 version. That's actually wrong, Xbox Fanboy. I was at the Xbox One event up in Leicester Square. They gave me the book. I have it on paper that they are making a 360 version as well.
Yeah, they are making it on 360.
Yeah.
So I'm planning on getting it.
I know, same here. And I can't wait for that. But I really want to see if it still has the basically, if the 360 version has the same feature. Respawn isn't making it though. Okay, Xbox Fanboy, thank you for clarifying that. Apparently the port isn't going to be made by Respawn, it'll be made by a different studio.
That makes sense. I mean, you usually put your top stars on the most recent console. That's always been the case.
So as we continue this as well, has anyone else got anything else to say about the about what Miguel just said?
I actually do.
Go for it.
There have been reports that a second Nintendo-themed DLC level will be coming out later next year.
Yeah, that was announced on Nintendo Direct as well, but they haven't stated what it is.
Well, one of the clues they gave is that they put a lot of emphasis on the word Link, suggesting that it might be a Zelda-themed DLC for Sonic Lost Worlds.
Ooh, that was awesome. I like that. I like the fact that Sonic is going through different types of Nintendo-based levels, because it kind of mixes the two things that we love, Nintendo and Sega. For all the retro gamers out there, of course.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this right now in terms of Yoshi. I was always conflicted on Yoshi's story. Like, there were things I liked about it, but there were things I hated about it. I've always kind of been on the fence with that game. I don't know if I like it or hate it.
Is that because Mario kept killing him in Mario World?
No. It's just, I liked the graphics. I thought the graphics were great. I thought the controls were nice. I hated the whole fruit system. I did not get into that. I thought the whole having to eat fruit to finish the level and not really having an ending to the levels, how it just kind of kept looping until you got enough fruit, and the whole fact that you can only play one level per world, and if you wanted to play the other levels, you had to replay the game again. Like, there were just some choices that I think they were trying to be different with, but I just did not like it. I think if they'd have made a more straightforward side-scroller, I think it would have been a great game. As such, I think it's kind of an experimental title that just doesn't work for me.
I will say this about Yoshi's story. You know, like the Yoshi story theme, how all Yoshis are singing.
I hated that.
Well, a friend of mine, she told me that apparently, like, people were talking about the lyrics to it, and they were calling it "Poop, let the men poop." So now every time I hear it, I think of the Poop song.
No matter what.
Download that so I can hear that.
Yes.
Yoshi's Toilet Time.
Okay.
Speaking of toilets, Laszlo from Rockstar Games confirms that next-gen ports of GTA 5 are in the works. So Rockstar stated that they weren't going to release the game on next-gen consoles, but apparently it's going to happen.
Well, because they love money. Yeah, they love money.
Well, it's a billion-selling game. Why not? You know, why not get on the PS4 one? I'm wondering if they're going to. I'm wondering though if it's going to be if they're going to actually have access to the GTA Online game that everybody else has access to. The one thing that I kind of annoyed me about that game is that I couldn't play with my PlayStation friends, and I know that's got a lot to do with Sony and Microsoft's egos, in a sense, because they want to decide whether whether their players intermingle or not. Not developers themselves, and from what I've been hearing, that actually can be done. People can actually intermingle from different servers, they just don't want that to happen.
The only time I've ever heard them being able to do that was with Valve, with I think it was either the Orange Box or Portal 2, but I remember they had an ability where you could do cross-play, because I think they routed their online modes through Steam. So in order to connect to somebody, it would be your console. It would use Steam as kind of a throughput. So it did allow for some cross-play between different consoles because Steam was the middleman. But I don't know. Are you talking about like cross-play between like a 360 and an Xbox One?
Yes. That's one thing I'm kind of trying to figure out if they can do that this time around. from what I've been told, apparently that is a reality that can happen. What do you think, Jeff?
I think Rockstar needs to just not milk all the money from the games, you know. I mean, they got enough money as it is from the Grand Theft Auto stuff.
By the way, everybody, just a heads up, that's Jeff Krupp joining the show. Jeff, say hi.
Hello, I'm Jeff Krupp.
Are you drunk, Jeff? Have you been drinking your Christmas schnapps?
Nope.
Drinking some eggnog.
He's just full of holiday cheer.
He is full of sign.
It is the holiday episode after all,
I'm
Brian.
just
People can
happy.
be cheery.
I'm happy to be back.
Well,
See?
welcome back to I Got Gameplay, Jeff.
It's that I got gameplay magic. What can you say?
So yeah, let's basically figure that one out. Hopefully Rockstar's going to be basically sorting that out and doing something with their next-gen GTA ports that they're going to be producing. I'm happy about this. Hopefully it does look great. I asked Xbox Fanboy what's his favourite games for the Xbox One. He says there's a toss-up between FIFA and Forza at the moment, but he does find Peggle 2, Power Star Golf, and he hasn't played the NBA 2K game as of yet, but he says it looks great. Thanks very much, Xbox Fanboy, on that one. So let's follow into a small bit of news and just go to you, Xander Scullin, Mr. X's Game Podcast himself.
Well, I have some awesome news to announce, and one of our good friends, he's had a Kickstarter for the last couple of weeks, and it got funded, so we're going to see Jumpman Forever.
Yeah, I want to put that out there as well. Davis, Ray Sigmund Jr., I interviewed him on my channel, Nerd Genius. If you want to head over to there, it's at youtube.com/TheNerdGenius, and it'll be posted on nerdgenius.com and Fanboys Anonymous as well, as always. As part of our Retro Unlim Week, is what we've had. Because, might as well announce it here as well. Xander Scullin has joined a friend and partner of the I Got Gameplay podcast, Retro Unlim. They're an amazing, amazing site. Check them out. They helped me spearhead this thing. When Davis came to me about this project and said, I'm doing this Kickstarter, and talked to me about funding it, I immediately ran to Xander about it first. I kind of had an ulterior motive in finding out about that, but you guys will find out a bit more about that later. I ran to Retro Unlim. I tried to get as many people backing this as possible so that he could actually meet his goal. And the initial goal was realized, and he got himself in the Ouya Games Fund.
Yep, Free to Games.
Free the Games Fund. And we'll talk about that a little bit, guys, and what criteria he had to meet. One of the criteria was he had to have over 200, I believe it was 202 people backing this, which he managed to get. And a lot of that, more power to him, a lot of that was due to his savvy marketing skills. And also, he had to get the funding goal, which was 20 grand net, and he managed to eclipse that with 20,168, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I'm trying to bring up the Kickstarter page as we speak. So, Davis, congratulations. He's going to be back. That number is going to be matched. He's going to have 40 grand to play with for this game. If you want to check out my playthrough of the game, I have a fun playthrough of the preview that he sent me. It was a hilarious Let's Play with me trying to figure out how the hell to play the game and keep getting killed every 5 minutes. But also, they had, he's also going to be sending beta copies of the game as well. And I'm so happy that indie developers like him are able to realize their dream. This is bigger and better things, and I'm hoping so much that there's going to be a big thing coming from this. So Xander, any more news?
When we were talking about the new Zelda Dynasty crossover game, I did want to mention something that's already out that you can download from the eShop that looks like a lot of fun, and that is the NES Remix.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that I saw like old school Link in Donkey Kong.
Yeah, it kind of made me think of like the WarioWare games where, you're playing like a little mini game and you're trying to get a high score that you can actually compare with other people in the Miiverse. So it's almost like it's got like a little leader leaderboard, like achievement type of thing, which I thought was really interesting. But yeah, it's like a new take on a bunch of Nintendo classics from like Mario to golf, a lot of black box titles like Excite Bike. It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it does, and it's actually available to download now, I believe. So check it out, guys.
It's only $10.
Only $10. So check it out. Hopefully, yeah. Go on, Travis.
I think it's 15. Are you talking about NES Remix?
Yeah.
Yeah.
15.
15.
Yeah, sorry.
$15, guys.
Yeah, all the people are all like, I got 10, 15. Fuck.
That's what I saw. I mean, I saw that it was played on Screw Detective. They were screwing around. No, it's Out of the Box. That's what it was. And they were playing it, and I was like, interesting. I mean, I will admit, I was like, okay. I mean, this looks like it's a lot of fun, but they said it's $15. I'm like, I really like those WarioWare games, which is just like you said. That's just like what this is. It looks like a WarioWare title. I still think it's still worth the money. I just wish they would have added just a few more mini games based on their NES properties, and would have been worth the money right up front.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll come out with like volumes, like they'll have like a volume 2 come out and stuff like that. And maybe those would be like, like $5 extra. And, I mean, I could see this if this gets popular and they come out with a couple of volumes, we'll probably see a physical release of it.
There's one thing I want to know. Do you get to play the full games with the remixes or only certain levels?
It's a certain levels that's especially done for this game, hence the name of it called Remix. Like, for instance, there's a level in the game where you're playing Donkey Kong Jr., and it's a level where you're jumping over these electrical things.
Yeah.
And then lights go out.
Oh, frick.
And then you have to try to maneuver your way through the level without getting hit. It's stuff like that. And there's even like an Excite Bike level that's just like that, where you're only driving with headlights on.
Can you actually customize the levels yourself, or do you have to play through the ones?
I don't know. I don't think there's any customization for this. But it looks like a hell of a lot of fun, though.
It does do, and it's something, in terms of minigames, it'd probably be something that I would be itching to play, but I'm probably going to wait till the price goes down. Okay, Travis, you got any news for us?
I want to go ahead and touch base on the thing we were talking about Ouya earlier when the price was dropped. And I'm pulling this from joystick.com. If you're interested in joining Ouya and pull the trigger at the Android microconsole's $99.99 price point, a coupon code issued today drops the unit's price to $59.99 with free shipping, marking its lowest price to date. Use the coupon code CALAMITY after adding the $99 console to your cart at shop.ouya.tv, and you'll get a $40 discount on a new Ouya with free shipping.
So you have to basically buy it directly from them. It's not at the retailers.
Exactly. But it's so great. But it's so great because when you think about it, even if you were to have bought the console at a retailer, you'd be paying full price, $99.99 plus taxes. But if you buy it off of their website with this coupon, not only are you saving $40, but also they're throwing in free shipping.
The Xbox fanboys basically just said that he loves to play Tomb Raider when that came out, and I plan on giving Square another $60 next month for the definitive edition. And this is basically backtracking on our GTA statement. Would you guys buy, if you had a game on the 360, would you buy it again for the next gen counterpart?
No.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't waste the money.
Well, I know for PS4 they were saying how, like, if you bought the PS4 version and the PS3 version, you could trade in the PS3 version for the PS4 version.
Okay then, Miguel, are you sneezing or crying?
I'm sneezing. Sneezing.
I thought you were crying about the Ouya. Sorry, man.
I'm crying about GTA 5. That's what I'm crying about.
I paid it full price. Yeah, go on, Travis.
I was just gonna. Well, I'm thinking about it, and something like that is a great idea, as long as they have that offer available. If you bought the upgraded system and you have the game that was on the previous console, and it's coming off the new one, and they're going to offer an upgrade, I mean, I wouldn't mind that. I mean, it's just for a few extra dollars. I wouldn't mind the upgrade as long as everything I've done in the previous game can be ported over to this new one.
What I like what they're currently doing with the like Assassin's Creed 4 and other selected games, if you purchase them on the 360 or PS3, you can actually pay for an upgrade version of it. So you can actually purchase the next-gen counterpart for an extra $10.
Which is great. I fully support that. But as long as they find a way to make it so that way everything I've done on the previous console can come over into the new one, where I still have everything as I had it before, in terms of save points and everything, I'd be all for it.
I think you'd have to start again, to say the truth.
Well, then, fuck it then. What's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
They want your money, that's the point.
Shut up and take my money. So let's go back to that Ouya thing. I am glad they're doing it. I think it's a good idea. And I, for one, if they had that deal over here in the UK, I'll be buying it and get my free shipping out of it. But I don't think they have it here.
It's sounding very tempting to me right now. Cause I kind of want a Ouya just for the ROMs.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, because it's so small and compact, and I can just fill it up with so much ROMs. I'm like, $60. That sounds, because they pushed back the Retron 5. It's not coming out till March.
What?
So
they're tweaking the console a bit further. I'm hearing.
God damn, I've been waiting for that.
Which, you know what? Honestly, if they're pushing it back because they want it to be a better product, more power to them.
Yeah.
Because a lot of companies. And I'm looking at you, Tomo, for the freaking Neo Geo X. That was a catastrophic disaster. I had so many hopes for that, and
SNK flipped out over that, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, and because it's a terrible product.
Yeah.
The only thing that was good out of it was I got a nice arcade stick I can play MAME on, but they were saying that the cartridge pins were kind of faulty and kind of loose. So they wanted to, I think they want to do some more tweaking to the actual console. So more power to them. I mean, that gives me more faith that, Hyperkin's going to actually put out a nice clone system.
I'm actually more interested in that SNES handheld that's been out on the market.
The Retro Duo?
No, is that the one that it looks like it's an SNES that has like two controller ports, but it's a handheld.
The Superboy.
Yeah, that's it.
They just came out with a new Retro Duo handheld that I've seen some reviews from Alpha Omega Sin and 8-Bit Eric, and it looks freaking awesome. It has of course you have to purchase accessories with it, but it can be a standalone console. But also you can also buy adapters for it so you can play Sega Genesis games and NES games. And it's only $60.
Oh, the Superboy is $80. But then again, it also has two ports on the front that you could connect original SNES controllers to it.
How's the battery life on it?
I have no idea.
On the Retro Duo, you can charge it and it has up to 8 hours battery life, which is pretty cool.
You see, for me, I would just rather buy a Ouya. I wouldn't even bother with the Retron 5, to tell you the truth, because I can get my retro fix by plugging in the HDMI from my Ouya to my TV and do loads of let's plays of all the retro games that I own that way.
Yeah.
Well, I can see that. What I would love to play on the Ouya is The Amazing Frog, because that looks like so much fun. Have you guys seen that game in action?
No.
I haven't.
Oh, go check it out. The Game Grumps have covered it, even the guys at Screw Attack. Oh, the game is so cool.
I'll have to go and check that out. So, let's move on from that then. And you got any more bit of news for us?
Yeah, I do have one other one, and it's like Miguel said earlier. It's kind of a quiet week, and it's just because of the holidays. But I did find something that's kind of cool for us Wii U owners. It looks like Nintendo will be selling a high-capacity Wii U gamepad battery, which will stretch out battery life from 3.5 hours to a whopping 8 hours.
Thank heaven for that.
You hear that, Burhan? 8 hours of poo gaming.
I can't. That's the thing. I can't take my Wii U gamepad to the toilet. I would, if Nintendo brought out an accessory that boosted the signal on that bloody thing, I'll be sitting in the toilet all day.
Well, hold on. Doesn't it connect through, like, Bluetooth?
It does, but it's a very weak signal. That's the problem.
Well, you can get a Bluetooth extender. There are Bluetooth adapters that you can plug in and it'll boost the signal. I don't know if I would have to check online. Let me check. But there are, like, actual adapters that'll boost the Bluetooth signal of a product.
I just want to say to everybody out there, I'm currently playing Pokemon Y on my Nintendo 3DS, and I'm breeding Pokemon. No, I'm not breeding with my Pokemon. I am actually breeding Pokemon.
Pokemon bestiality at its finest.
You know, though, what I think is funny, though, like, since the PS4 and the Xbox One came out, they've been promoting the crap load of the Wii U now.
Well, it's because they've got so many good games that are coming out at the moment, like Mario World, Mario 3D World on the Wii U. Amazing game. I can't talk how... Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, like, they also came out with Wind Waker HD.
Yes.
That's a big one. And there's just, finally, after all this time, you're getting all these really great games coming out to the system. But this is all great and stuff, but I'm still waiting for a brand new Star Fox and a new Metroid game.
Oh, speaking of Metroid, they kind of hinted that there's going to be a possible new Metroid coming out at the VGX Awards. Reggie kind of let that slip.
That means I actually have to watch the VGX Awards.
Just YouTube it. Just YouTube Reggie.
His body is Reggie.
But also they got this other Yoshi game. It's like Yoshi's New Island or something like that.
Yeah, that's a new one. That's like the lamest title for a game ever, Yoshi's New Island.
It's probably just a tentative title this time, but I'm still playing because I love Yoshi's Island. I mean, I was so happy when my fiance bought me a copy of Yoshi's Island a few months back as an early birthday present, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is great!"
Original SNES title?
Yes.
Oh wow.
She got me that game, and I couldn't believe it. I was beyond ecstatic. It was like I was 15 all over again. I was flying through the game, and I was in heaven.
I'll admit, my only experience with Yoshi's Island was the GBA port, which was not bad.
The GBA port sucks. I'm sorry, it fucking sucks because they had to put Yoshi's voice into it, and every time he does that flailing thing up in the air, somebody's gonna take a I hate his voice. I fucking hate Yoshi's voice.
So they pulled a George Lucas.
No!
It's been worse. Jar Jar could have actually been in the game.
Jar Jar Binks wants to be in Yoshi's Island, yes?
That was actually kind of freakily, well done, Jeff.
I still say my favorite Jar Jar moment was in The Simpsons when Comic Book Guy was like, "Oh, Jar Jar, everybody hates you but me."
But anyway,
Jar Jar's basically the reason why the Empire took over the whole Galactic Empire.
Yeah, I know.
But going back to the story about the battery life, if you guys want to partake in upgrading your Wii U gamepad, it's very easy to do. Just use a screwdriver and install it. But you need $32 in order to get this extended battery pack, which is fine with me.
That's kind of gay. I think Nintendo really need to own up and say, hey, the battery life is kind of shit. We'll give it to you for $10.
If you're a Club Nintendo member, they should give you a discount.
Yeah. This is the one thing, I'm going to have a little rant, actually, about Nintendo now. They have, like, with Club Nintendo, they have the coupon codes for all your games, but they don't have them for the consoles. What they do is they say that you have to link the console to your Club Nintendo account and your Nintendo Network ID, and then you'd get the points that way. I've linked both my 3DS and my Wii U and have yet to receive any points for either of my console, and I'm not yet eligible to claim my free game from Club Nintendo for my 3DS because they haven't recognized that my both consoles are actually linked to the system, to the Club Nintendo account. So it's kind of pissed me off a bit.
I gave my points away.
Yeah, I know who you gave yours to. I want my super cool Luigi statue. Fuck someone else.
Why don't you just call Nintendo and complain to customer service?
I've emailed them, Jeff, so I'm waiting to hear a reply on them. I'm not really going to waste my money calling Nintendo's support with them going, well, you need to email us, sir, and then go for the email. You need to do this. Their customer service is kind of just as bad as Google's.
No, nothing
but
as
at
bad
least
as
you got
Google's
people.
customer support. Nothing.
Yeah. But Google, you do have people as well if you're willing to work for it.
But yeah, speaking of Nintendo and the points and all that, I'm still waiting for my my Majora's Mask CD to get in the mail.
So Xander, where can you buy the Retron 5? Xbox fanboy wants to know.
You can get it through Hyperkin's website or also StoneAgeGamer.com. But also, if you go to any local retro video game stores, if they sell anything that's like the Retron 3, which don't buy the Retron 3 because it's terrible, but if they're sponsored Hyperkin dealers, then just mention to them about the Retron 5, like my local retro store, Game Giant, they know I want it, so they're actually going to go ahead and order some of them, and they told me they're going to call me, and they're not going to sell them until I buy the first one, so...
Wow! That's nice.
Yeah, I got some hookups there. But yeah, like, definitely if you go to any mom and pop shops, mention it, and, also you can pre-order it on StoneAgeGamer.com, so.
There you go.
It's $100.
It is $100. Go for Xbox fanboy. Travis has posted a picture of Mike Tyson going, Merry Christmas. I did laugh hysterically. So yeah, let's continue this conversation now. Going from Travis, let's go to you, Braden. Any news?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure most of you have at least been aware of this, but Nintendo actually held what I assume is their final Nintendo Direct of the year on Wednesday morning, about 6 a.m. Pacific time. And they just basically did updates on some of the titles they have coming out in 2014. And nearing the end of the presentation, they basically left two big trailers to show for what I assume are their two most anticipated titles for the Wii U in the coming new year. Those, of course, being Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and Nintendo 3DS and Mario Kart 8. And the announcement was pretty well kind of the same thing. Rosalina from Super Mario Galaxy is actually going to be a new roster member to the game, as well as a new racer for the Mario Kart franchise. So kind of big sort of deal. I didn't think she as a character was going to be much of anything past Super Mario Galaxy, but she just came off of I don't remember if she was a downloadable character if you could unlock her, but I know she is playable in some format for Super Mario 3D World. And now she's going to be her. Yeah, and now she's going to be a Smash Brothers fighter, and she's going to be appearing in Mario Kart 8. Apparently the character it clearly is way more popular than I gave credit for. I didn't think she would really be featured in much past Super Mario Galaxy 2. So, pretty interesting. From the trailer I've seen for Smash Brothers alone, the fighting style for her is very, very different. They did all they could to really separate her from Peach with the incorporation of using the Loomis in her fighting style. I don't know. I thought both trailers were very impressive. Some big news.
Very much
I would say if it's the year of Luigi, then like this chick is like the game of the decade, like the gaming character of the decade. Because I mean, she's really double dipping in so many titles right now.
I mean, it's because she's hot. I think people just want to like masturbate over her. That's my opinion.
Well, the big problem with her is that there's no other Mario member left for her to be with except for Wario. She's got to get the third scraps. Because think about it. You got Peach with Mario, Daisy's with Luigi. I guess the only real Mario member of the family that she can really hook up with is Wario, I guess.
At least she'll never go hungry.
Yeah, he does have the money to back it up.
So she wouldn't choose Waluigi?
Oh, no.
He is tall. Although to be fair, the only time he's ever been a main character in a video game was in Mario Dance Revolution.
He still got some dancing credit to his name. That's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Fairly good tennis player too, I assume.
Poor
What else has he
Luigi.
done? I know he's done some racing in his day as well.
I believe so. He's popped up here and there.
Yeah.
I kind of think Waluigi was one of those, hey, we need to fill in a character, so it's kind of like the ninjas in Mortal Kombat. It's like, hey, we need to fill up a spot, so let's just, Waluigi. How about that?
Yeah, we already got a Wario, so now we need a Waluigi. Yeah, go with that.
I will mention something. I watched a YouTube channel called Gaijin Goomba, and he was talking about Waluigi, and what it is that Wa it's translated in Japan as a acronym for opposite. So that's one of the main reasons why. I mean, we think of Wario because of the W and the M in Mario, but Wario is the opposite of Mario, and that's the reason why you got Waluigi. But it just doesn't translate well in America. We're just kind of like, that doesn't make any sense.
I'm just wondering what Wa Peach would be.
Bleach.
That princess.
Bleach.
Bleach.
Just be all white and look like a crack addict.
Whiter.
Whiter. So,
I was thinking she'd be a fat princess.
A hollow.
Apricot.
all the toads trying to pick her up.
Either that or like ultra just slutty, like the anti-conservative Peach. She just wears biker leather.
I'm thinking since Peach sounds so sweet and everything, Mario. I'm thinking probably Weech would sound like, oh Mario! Oh my God! I'm going after Mario. He's so hot.
So basically, she's voiced by Fran Drescher.
Yeah.
There you go.
Ugh.
That's
an
total opposite
awful visual. Why would you do that?
Because we're trying to create visual aid for the audience. You got to kind of understand where we are mentally, so we got to inflict that to people listening.
You know what? If it wasn't for the voice, I would bang Fran Drescher. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Wow. Michael, are you sure you're not drinking this episode?
No, I'm not.
You gotta be.
She was kind of hot. She was kind
Yeah,
of back in the day.
I grew up watching that awful TV show of hers. I can totally understand.
Yeah, it's just the voice itself would just make her sound like she's basically a car alarm. Imagine having a Fran Drescher car alarm.
I watched Jack when I was younger. There's not much pain that can equivalent to that.
Oh,
You remember that movie, Jack?
Yeah, I do. Robin Williams.
Oh, that was Francis Ford Coppola desperately trying to get another Oscar.
Yes.
It was a terrible backfire, though, if I've ever seen one.
It was a good movie for what it was.
No, it wasn't. No, I'm sorry. I can't defend Jack. That movie is awful.
I like Robin Williams in every movie he's done, basically.
See, I'm with you, Jeff. That's one of the reasons why he's gone back to TV. Anyway.
Yeah, it's the same. It's just like what Frank Caliendo said. It's the same. Anytime Robin Williams does dramatic acting, it's that same kind of low. No, it's that same kind of low, almost whisper kind of way he does it. He's like, well, you just have to try to do this, and it's always nice when you talk like this and make
we
you
come
much
to a
smarter.
moment in time near the end of our lives.
Yeah.
And let me do my speech like this.
Yeah. I'm expositing. I just have
And
to
then the opposite is just crazy genie, Robin Williams. That voice he used for the genie is him in basically almost everything else.
Got a smile.
Have you guys seen him doing his guest spot on Law and Order SVU though? And he was pretty howl on that.
I'll give him credit, man. I'll give him credit though. He was awesome in 1 Hour Photo.
I was just about to mention
He was
that.
bloody creepy in that.
But I think that movie gets shit on. I don't understand what's too bad about it. I didn't think it was all that bad.
It's because of Robin Williams not being himself. It's him playing an actual character.
And then the thing is when he does play himself, people say it's old, tired, and played out.
Yeah.
Can that guy win?
No.
He's Nintendo.
Yeah. Robin Williams actually is the analogy.
He's the human equivalent to what Nintendo as a company are to the masses.
He would have been hilarious if he was actually Mario in a game. That would be funny. Luigi.
Let's go.
Yeah, go on. So, what were you saying, Xander?
Oh, I was about to say that Robin Williams is actually a huge Zelda fan. He's got a daughter.
He named his daughter Zelda.
I named my daughter Zelda as well.
Coincidence?
Really?
I think not.
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
I use the Turkish analogy for it. It's Selda, which means happiness and good fortune. I didn't actually name her because I was obsessed with the Zelda franchise.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, she is awesome. She's like she would always tell people because her mother calls her Kushi, which also means happiness. It's basically an analogy for her name in Hindi. And she always goes up to people and goes, "My name's Zelda. I'm a princess." I was like, yeah. You tell people that.
Is she the one that looks ecstatic when she had the new Mario game?
No, that was Hina. Zelda's the one who looks like she's got the sleepy eyes going on when she had it. But to be fair, it was her birthday. She was just like, yay, that's cool. And then Hina was like, I get to play Peach! That's the only reason why she's loving that game so much. She's like, I get to play Peach, and she's not a victim in this game. I can actually play her. And I was like, yes, you can, sweetie.
That is like the coolest picture ever. Like that is the epitome of this whole episode about Christmas and just getting those gifts,
In one picture.
Yeah, you can see her face, and guys, I'll post it on the I Got Gameplay Facebook page and also on the I Got Gameplay forum. We do have a forum now. It used to be a forum just for us hosts, but it's opened up to the main public due to the behest of Xander and Travis Goss, of course. And it's facebook.com groups I Got Gameplay. One word. Facebook.com groups I Got Gameplay. You can come and talk with us hosts and stuff like that as well. Robman's on there. You can talk with Robman about Happy Console Gamer, loads of stuff. If you're not a member of the Happy Console Gamer forum, if you're not, why not? And you can also basically talk with various hosts and celebrities from Retro Island as well, including the most awesome person in the world, Mr. Halfbit himself. If you don't know who Halfbit is, check it out on YouTube. He does a show called Retrospective Perspective, and he is amazing. A great guy, awesome dad, and an amazing character himself. So check that out, guys. Braden, any more news?
That's all on my front, or at least all that I paid attention to this week.
Okay, Jeff, you got any news for us?
Not really.
No worries, mate. So let's go on to the next part of our show, of course, ladies and gents, which is today's theme of today's show, of course, and that is Christmas gaming. So we'll be right back right after this. yes, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Christmas gaming. Now, in the end, we're not going to actually just talk about Christmas gaming itself. We're going to talk about the games that we like to play at Christmas. So we talk about the shit games that we don't like, the games that we do like, and also those games that we just sit there and think, really? Do I really need this? So let's go to our first Christmas game, and we're going to go and do like a round robin for all the hosts. Let's start selectively with Braden Mayhew. Braden, what's your number one list of your... Well, we'll do a top 10 for everybody. So give your number 10 Christmas game. The game that you play the most at Christmas, or makes you feel Christmassy.
What game makes me feel Christmassy? Basically every game I play, really. Most of them, sometimes you do get them around Christmas time, but basically I guess anything for my Super Nintendo, for one thing. I would say maybe up there. I know. I think Mario is going to be everyone's favorite. I mean, his main colors are red. So I think we're going to see his franchise at least named a couple more times in here. But Super Mario World's right up there. I mean, it is one of my, if not my favorite game of all time, subjectively, of course.
It's actually mine as well, to tell you the truth.
Really?
Yeah.
Like of all time.
Because I got it for Christmas with my Super Nintendo when I was a kid.
As did I.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember if I got my Super Nintendo for Christmas, but I remember it. I did get it at some point. Like, that's a long time ago. Memory isn't what it used to be, you know. So, but it's been around for a long time, and that game is the one that I probably, if I had to think of, I have the most tenured time playing. Like, probably the most hours have ever been spent playing that. It's just awesome when you got to, like, go to the special zone and unlock all these super secret areas. Sometimes you just stumble upon them by accident, and you had to figure out, oh, what else can I find?
And the sounds as well and stuff, it always sounds so Christmassy.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd have, like, the sort of a Christmassy version of that with snow coming down on one level. It was actually kind of awesome.
The overworld basically looked like Christmas lights. Yeah.
Very much so. So let's move on to the next person, Miguel.
This is going to be difficult because I don't really see Christmas as a specific time to where you need a specific game to play.
You need Die Hard. That's what you need. We all need Die Hard.
Die Hard NES was garbage. Moving on.
No. A Die Hard for the PlayStation.
Okay, that was good.
That was awesome.
Die Hard for the Sega Saturn.
There was a Die Hard game for the PlayStation. Are you talking about Vendetta?
No, Die Hard Trilogy.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to check that out because I hadn't heard it.
It's awesome. You'll love it.
Huh. But okay, if we're gonna have to go with a game that is tied to Christmas that goes back to my childhood, it's actually 4. And the reason I'm gonna say 4 is because when I first got my PlayStation, it was, I'm gonna say Christmas of '98. Yeah, it was Christmas of 1998, and I remember getting 4 titles. Crash Bandicoot Warped, Spyro the Dragon, if I'm not mistaken, Asteroids, the 98 remake, and for some reason Madden NFL 97. I'm guessing because my parents assumed I was into football, which I wasn't. I didn't even ever really play that game. I just got rid of it after a while.
Was it the same as the? It wasn't the same as the Aliens remake that they did. That sounded really shitty. Where they had like a single person shooting aliens and tried to do a story mode and shit with it.
What, of Asteroids?
No, with Aliens. I'm saying was Asteroids similar to that, the reboot they did?
No, for the Asteroids reboot, basically it was the same game as the original Asteroids, just with 3D polys. Like, you had like a little 3D ship in the middle, and all the asteroids were like 3D blocks and stuff. Like, there was a story, but it was very flimsy. Like, it would just like, basically you would have an overview in front of each level that would say why you're in a certain area. Like, it very much it was just there just to string the levels together. But I didn't mind it. I got a lot out of it. And obviously Spyro the Dragon and Crash Bandicoot 3 are 2 amazing titles. So I was okay with that. But yeah, I'd probably say in terms of the games that I would connect to Christmas, I'd say those 4 to me remind me of Christmas the most.
Okay. Let's go to Xander.
I'm gonna choose my Game Boy, because I got my Game Boy for Christmas, and I have a pretty funny story about this. It's kind of controversial. I don't know if I should tell this story or not, because I might crush people's dreams, but fuck it, I'll tell it anyway. See, I wanted Yoshi's Island. I wanted that for Christmas, but my mom wouldn't get me that game because she couldn't stand hearing Baby Mario cry. And, yeah, she couldn't, because back then I had my Super Nintendo in the living room, so when I played games, everyone was around me, and she was like, I remember I was in the bed, and I wasn't asleep yet, but I could hear my mom talking to my grandfather on the phone, and she was telling him, she was like, yeah, he wants, that Yoshi game, but I can't stand hearing that baby cry, and she was saying that she got me a Game Boy for Christmas, and, she was like, yeah, I got him the Game Boy, but it didn't come with any games, so she was talking to my grandpa about getting me some games, and, that's when I put the two together, and I, figured out that Santa Claus wasn't real, because Santa Claus was supposed to get me that Game Boy, and my mom did.
For those of the listeners out there, if you still believe Santa Claus is real, and you're listening to a PG-13 show, I feel bad for you.
So sorry you had to find out the truth this way.
As far as my kids are concerned, Santa bought them all their presents, so that's fine by me.
Yeah, he didn't get me my Game Boy.
Oh. So you got your Game Boy, and did you get any games with it?
Yeah, weirdly enough, the games that I got from my Game Boy was 2 arcade classic carts, where it was like, I got 2 carts, and they came with 2 games on each cart. One was, I believe it was Defender and Asteroids, and the other one was Joust, and I cannot remember the other one to save my life, but I got those 2, those were the first games I got from my Game Boy. And I still have that Game Boy. It's the big white one, the big brick. I still have it.
Wow.
Yep.
So let's move on now to Mr. Travis Goss, of course. Travis, what did you get for Christmas?
This was back when the Nintendo 64 came out. I so badly wanted that Star Wars game, Shadows of the Empire. And, I was just like, I want to buy it. Wait till Christmas. And that morning, my late brother, and his wife came over, and we were opening presents, and he had this one big box sitting right there on the floor. And he says, "That's yours, Travis, but you save that for last." I'm like, all right, fine. So open up everything else, and it gets the last present. And I'm getting kind of disappointed because I've been telling everybody I want the Star Wars game. Oh, pick up the box, unwrap it. It was not Star Wars. It was a box of Superman trading cards.
At least it wasn't Superman 64.
Hold on. I'm not finished. By the way, that game is shit. I used to have a copy anyway.
I would love to see you freak out over that game if you're playing like rose-colored letters.
Somebody give me a Nintendo 64 and that game, I will do it. I promise you I will do it. But anyways, back to the story. And I was like, oh great, Superman trading cards. How awesome. And he says, well, just open it. I'm like, okay. Open the box, and inside were the wrappers of all of the trading cards. And I was like, okay, interesting. Just reach in there. Alright, reach in there, and I felt another box inside. It's like, okay, pull it out, and I immediately right then and there, I looked at the box itself. It was Nintendo 64 box shaped. I was like, oh god, oh dude, unwrap it, there it was, right there, and I was like, I'm gonna go down to the basement, I'm grabbing my Nintendo 64, I'm hooking it upstairs, see you in a minute. Rushed upstairs.
I kind of said giggity as soon as you went, I'm going to the basement.
Yeah.
Where are you going to the basement, Brian? What do you think?
Yeah, but I just ran upstairs and I hooked it up and I started playing the shit. I was like, oh yeah, this game is fucking awesome. And it still is today, if I still had it.
Oh.
That game was, that was like the Nintendo 64 game to own, in my opinion, and I miss it so much.
I gotta go back to that game. I have it, but I haven't played it in a while.
Okay, Jeff, what about you?
Well, the thing I associate with Christmas is both my PlayStation 1, when I used to have it, and my PlayStation, all my PlayStations actually, because I got every single one of them on a Christmas.
Okay, so let's talk about that, your Sony purchase. Did you buy them at Christmas, or did like someone buy it for you?
My mom got it for me. It's
Oh.
like I've been like, every time there are new systems come out, I've been like, I want to get it. I want to get it. And she's like, I'll just wait for Christmas, see what you got. And so I was like, oh, okay. So I'm like going on Christmas morning, and this was like a couple years back, like 98. Yes, it's a long time back, when the first PlayStation came back. And I like was opening my present, and then there was my PlayStation, and the first game I got for it was my Tekken 2. And
Nice.
And as soon as I got it, I just spent a whole week just playing it. I never stopped.
Awesome.
Xbox Fanboy said he has never gotten
It was so
anything
fun to
video game related at Christmas. Oh. So let's go back to Braden. Mine, of course, was I have to go in agreement with Braden about Mario World. That was my Christmas treat that my parents bought me. They bought me a Super Nintendo. They purchased that cartridge for me, and I went crazy. I went completely and utterly crazy. I was sitting there like, yay! And my brother was like, can I play? No! It had a 2-player feature, so they did. That was, I believe that was the only console I managed to actually secure 2 pads with it. They bought me an edition that had Mario World and both pads, so we could actually play 2-player. But my brother kind of went to bed before because I was dead set on finishing this game. And I was up all night and all day finishing this game while he was like, dude, you going to bed yet? I was like, no. I've got to
As you
finish
should
the
have
game."
been. It's an amazing game.
Oh yeah, I was addicted so much. And playing that Yoshi, being able to ride on something and not actually use Mario's legs was kind of weird as well. It was like a flat Italian plumber and this dinosaur that he was just pounding its head constantly.
He would donkey punch it.
He would donkey punch Yoshi. And the fact that you had to like risk his life and kill him just to go and get any of your extra coins and stuff and get a little bit of extra jump. So the whole game theory about why Mario is a psychopath is kind of cool. So yeah, that's mine, and you know, it's one of those special things because it's the first time my dad ever actually, before I even said, I never told him to buy me a Super Nintendo. Nobody said to him to buy that console. My dad and mum actually went out their way, knew that I wanted the console because I had my NES that my dad bought me. It was only a couple of years old, believe it or not, and purchased it. And it became a huge trend with me and my dad where, you know, I would get, I kind of, after the SNES, I stopped buying Nintendo consoles because my brothers, one, I couldn't afford them because I was a broke little kid, and my brothers ended up basically buying the consoles for me. Like my eldest brother bought a GameCube and N64. My other brother, Hussein, went on to buying PlayStations and being obsessed with those consoles, and Dreamcast, of course, as well. So I was kind of spoiled for choice because we're all living in one house and everybody was purchasing consoles and bits and pieces for themselves. And I had my Super Nintendo, which was the only console that was ever bought for me. And it was so much special because I didn't ask for it. They did it themselves. They went out of their way and they knew what I liked. And it was kind of cool. So yeah, go back to Braden. Braden, next.
Next game on the list would basically probably have to be Little Big Planet. And the reason, it's more recent, last 5 years or so, but Christmas going to be 5 years ago, I got a PlayStation 3 for Christmas, and one of my other gifts just so happened to be Little Big Planet. And I still think to this day it's one of the better, more unique platforming games that's come out since the early 3D platforming days, like the Nintendo 64 and PlayStation. I'd say since 2002-ish, certainly one of the best, more unique platforming games. I remember, you know, you can customize they're basically little avatar characters you play as, little Sackboy things. You can customize your skins, use different stickers, decorate the different areas and levels, and do your own kind of exploring. My first time I ever played it was actually on Christmas Day, so it's just one of those old memories that kind of stays with you. And when I think of Christmas, it's just one of probably many games that comes up. I got a lot of them that resonate with Christmas, but that would probably be the next one I think of, for sure.
Xbox Fanboy said that Sega needs to come out with a Dreamcast 2, and it's like $300 to undercut Sony and Microsoft. I love my Dreamcast. Oh.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Dreamcast 2 is going to come out the same time Shenmue 3 comes out.
Which is never.
Well, they keep bringing out those rumors that they are thinking of making the Dreamcast 2.
The problem is Sega doesn't have enough money.
Yeah, I think the Dreamcast 2 is probably going to be up there. It's probably one of the greatest vaporware myths of all time. I mean, that thing pretty much, well, now that Duke Nukem Forever is actually out, that pretty much basically has taken the #1 spot.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I would love to have a Dreamcast 2, but we got to really face the facts. Right now, we've got Nintendo, we got Sony and Microsoft. Those are the big three right now. And to be honest, it just looks like in recent years that Sega has done a lot better business as a third-party publisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what I was thinking about that. Like maybe during the PS2 era, if they'd have come out with it, fine. But what could they? Am I getting an echo?
I believe you are. Is anybody not using a headset, or has their microphone close to their PC?
No.
I'm on a laptop.
It's probably Jeff. Go on, Miguel.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know. Like I said, if they would have come out during the PS2 Xbox era, fine. There were still a lot of franchises that were just starting to creep up on those systems, but they really don't have a franchise to their own name. I mean, they kind of just... It's more of a surprise nowadays when you see a Sega name on a title than not. You know, they just kind of happen to publish games now.
Yeah.
And really good ones at that.
Good ones, but they're not Sega games. They just happen to be games with the Sega branding on it. Like, I believe Alien vs. Predator was a Sega title. They published that. I wouldn't consider Alien vs. Predator a Sega game.
Well, I see what you're saying, yeah.
Oh, Xander, just a Pokemon question for you, just so I can derail this a little bit. Did you get your mystery gift?
Yes.
Your little, what was those fire chicks called? What's it called? Torchic.
Yeah, I got the Torchic.
Yeah, I know.
I thought it was Chikorita.
No, Torchic.
Okay.
So I've got two now for some reason. Someone's traded me their Torchic. If anyone wants a Torchic, just go and holler me up on Pokemon One. So yeah, there you go. So Travis, your next one?
Oh, I had to really think about this one. And I was also going to say about getting my Super Nintendo and Super Mario World for Christmas in '91. That was pretty cool. But I really had to think about this. I'm actually going to do something a little bit different, kind of off of this whole list here. How about two games I want for Christmas, and I'm still waiting for them.
Yeah, are you expecting an audience to buy them for you?
Well, yeah, damn it. No, in '95, I really wanted to have a copy of Killer Instinct and Castlevania Dracula X. Oh, God, I wanted those games so bad. And I was asking for them. I love that song. Well, yeah, that was from 4, but yeah, I asked for them, I was like, I want these games for Christmas. Can I get these games? And they said, well, we'll see. I'm still waiting for them. I never got those damn games. And now, since Castlevania Dracula X is like over $200 on fucking eBay, I know I'm never going to be able to afford that.
Just pick up a copy of Dracula X Chronicles on the PSP. It's
not.
No.
Actually, I heard PS3 is gonna redo Castlevania X.
Well, see, the Dracula X on the Super NES is not Rondo of Blood.
I know. I mean, I got Rondo of Blood on the Virtual Console. That's fine. I love that game. But I want the Super Nintendo game because it just looks a lot more fun to play, in my opinion.
Do you know Sega's stock is at $7 billion? Xbox Fanboy was just letting me know this. It's just under $7 billion. Wow.
Well, that's only how much stock they have on the market. You got to see how much each stock is worth.
So they could literally make a loss on a new console if they wanted to.
Like I said, though, what would they put on it? They really don't have an identity anymore.
That's
Sonic.
So, I mean, most of the Sonic titles, Sonic's pretty much lost a lot of its luster. Only we talk about him in terms of like a nostalgic trip, but I mean,
he is.
Yeah, he is at this point. I mean, he's like a retired rock band from like the late '80s. You know, he's basically he's the Warrant of the video game industry, or let's see, or the extreme of the video game industry. You know,
extreme.
Yeah, he was early '90s. Throw that kind of attitude into a character. Here you go, sort of thing. Was big for the time.
Sonic, like from like the '90s Sonic, brought that kind of style game back.
You know what? I should have bought Sega like stock low. But seriously, this is a lesson learned for people like me. I should have bought their stock.
If you imagine if you bought a good piece of Sega Burhan, what would you do if you had a good share in Sega?
I'll be sitting on my yacht somewhere. I'll be doing IGG from a yacht and just basically sit there, and I'll be using some of my stock to fund other projects. And you know, I'll probably throw some money around at everybody. I'll be like sitting there. Okay, what am I going to do with the rest of my like 500 million? I wouldn't have to worry for the rest of my life. That would be awesome. So there you go. If you want to buy stock, you should have bought Sega stock when they were like on the verge of bankruptcy, people.
I still say probably the most unfortunate stock story was my old man told me the story about how he had the opportunity to buy up Apple stock several months before they announced the iPod, and this was back when their stock was like pennies, like it was like $1. Like this was right at their lowest, and he had the opportunity to buy it. And had he bought it at that point, he'd be a billionaire at this point.
Yep.
This would have been like 2000, I believe.
Oh man.
Damn.
So you know, Nintendo are also. They're making a lot more than Sega is in terms of how much money the company's worth. They're into billions themselves. So that just shows you, even though people keep complaining about Nintendo, they've still got a lot of money in the bank.
Well, yeah, the Wii sold like billions.
Yeah.
That pretty much saved them at some point, because they were on the brink back by the end of the GameCube era.
I don't say they were on the brink. I think they were at the point where they could have either, they probably would have ended up leaving the industry as a manufacturer in terms of consoles. But they've done good. They've made some right moves, and I still have a huge lot of faith in the Wii U. But anyway, let's go on to Xandar. What's your next console? What's the one that you want?
Well, I wanted to mention when I first got my PlayStation one Christmas, my parents had gotten me the PlayStation, but it was with a bundle. It was like a Madden bundle that came with an extra like EA style or licensed PlayStation controller, a memory card, and it came with the latest Madden. I believe it was like Madden 97. And did I keep Madden? No, I actually took it to Babbage's and I traded in and got Resident Evil Director's Cut.
I think I'm willing to bet that my parents probably got the same PlayStation bundle that you did, because, like I said, Madden 97 was the odd man out with my stuff that year.
Yeah, I totally traded that in.
What did you get for it?
I got Resident Evil.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Director's Cut.
Yeah, Xbox Fanboy just wants to tote that. Microsoft currently sits at $307 billion.
Of course, it's Microsoft.
Yeah, there's like, you can't, I don't believe that's just because of the Xbox.
Yeah. I'm willing to bet it's off of, I'm willing to bet they're making more money off of other products. I'm just saying.
Well, the Xbox 360 was actually the highest selling console on the market.
Yeah, but when you, I don't know.
I thought PS2 was overselling them at one point.
Oh, they took a hit during the first Xbox One. They took a massive hit. I think they took like a $1 billion hit from that.
But that was chump change to Microsoft, though. Think about it.
Yeah.
Their founder manages to donate billions to poor countries. That shows how much money they have in the bank. But staying clear of that one. So, what did you get? What was the game that you got instead of Madden?
Resident Evil Director's Cut.
Ooh.
Yeah, Burhan, jeez.
He's been repeating it for like 3 times. I think you asked him before twice.
Did I? Apologies.
Yeah, yes, you did. Are you drinking? Are you drinking?
No,
he's playing that damn Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Let's go on to Jeff. Jeff, what's your next one?
I would have to say the Sega Genesis.
Ooh.
Because I actually got that when it first came out during Christmas time. Yeah.
So what did you, so you got it at Christmas time. Did your parents buy it for you? Did you get it as a present, or did you just get it?
I got it I was like 6 years old, and my late grandparents actually got it for me.
Oh.
Like, I didn't even, ask them for it. Like, I got up and opened up my present, and there it wasn't. I had that bundle pack with the Turtle Olympics. I forget what it was called.
What'd you get a boy who has everything? Buy him a Sega Genesis.
And
that was actually very well timed.
Yeah, that was. What is that? Let me check what that is.
I don't know what it was called, but it was like that Turtle Olympics, and it had like the first Sonic the Hedgehog bundle pack in it.
What's up, Internet Wrestling community? This is Anthony Mango of SmarkOutMoment.com, a wrestling website dedicated to the smart marks like you and I. We break down and review every pay-per-view with predictions and spoilers, and you can catch our weekly podcast on YouTube for some smack talk. There's no rules here, and we show no mercy. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter at SmarkOutMoment, where we analyze all the angles, shoot first, and kill kayfabe. That's www.smarkoutmoment.com. Why mark out when you can smark out?
But that was my thing.
Oh, cool. For me, I think what was mine? Actually, my NES. My NES, big deal for me. I got that as a Christmas present from my dad. Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. I got it pre-owned, believe it or not. It's the first pre-owned console I ever owned. I managed to get a brand new one. Well, not brand new one, but, I got myself a new one after I lent it to a friend of mine who decided that she didn't want to return it and then move. So, but I managed to grab one of those. So let's go back to you, Braden. Next one.
The next Christmas-related game.
Wait a minute, I never got to say what my next few were.
Oh.
Didn't you, Miguel? I swear you did.
Well, I said it through the first run, but not the second run.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to go with, it's going to be another compilation just because these are the ones that stuck out the most. Usually when I get just 1 or 2 games for Christmas, they don't really stand out as much, but I'm going to go with Christmas of 03 only because that Christmas meant a lot to me. It was the first Christmas that I had having moved out of my previous state. Which was New Jersey. Mm-hmm. I moved down here to Florida in 03, and it was actually the month before Christmas, so Christmas is like one of the big event things that happened down where I was at. It was one of the first big event things to happen in that house. And for that one, my parents basically just came at me with an open wallet. They were like, here, make a list of games, and we'll get you as many as we can. And so I listed down 7 games. I only got 4.
Oh.
And no,
damn you, Mom and Dad. Damn you.
No. I'm grateful, but here's the thing. The 3 that I really wanted were the 3 that I didn't get.
Okay.
The 3 I wanted were, at the time I wanted Castlevania Lament of Innocence, because I believe that just came out, True Crime Streets of LA, and Prince of Persia The Sands of Time. Those are the 3 that I were at the top of my list. But I think those had just come out, so they were sold out in most stores. The games... I did get the other games on my list, which was Tony Hawk Underground, Spawn Armageddon, Spy Hunter 2, and oh my god, I'm blanking out on the 4th one. Kill Switch. Kill.Switch, which was probably the best one out of that group. All those games are great. Underground was fun. Spawn Armageddon had its fun. I mean, it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. Kill Switch is a very underrated game. That game should have done better than it did. That was an awesome title. And Spy Hunter 2 was okay for what it was. I thought there would be more to it.
Awesome.
But yeah, I really do. That Christmas is probably the last Christmas that really stands out to me. Other Christmases have come and gone, but that one, just for what it meant, being in that new environment and just getting all those games all at once, was probably the only other Christmas besides that PS1 Christmas that really stands out for me.
So, Braden?
Oh,
Number 3 on your list.
Number 3.
I think we'll narrow this down to a top 5 because people are having trouble trying to think.
Yeah, because I get there's so many games that it's hard to differentiate the big ones after a while.
Very true.
I've made a tradition in the last few years, like when family or I have friends over on Christmas Eve, we always do a couple rounds. I think I might have missed it last year, but we always done a couple rounds of Super Smash Brothers for whatever reason. I don't know why it's become like an unofficial, like Christmas Eve tradition to kind of have a few rounds of that before bed and before the next morning, but hey, it's been certainly fun. I like playing it before Christmas Day. Apparently everybody else likes playing it too.
We actually have that same tradition, but we have that with Mario Kart.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I should start doing that as well. Start playing Mario Kart around the same time. Differ it up. Maybe I can have a whole marathon of Nintendo games to play before I go to bed.
I remember when I was married, like the in-laws would come round and we'd just all sit down and play a game of Mario Kart, play some Wii Fit just to measure our body weight for some weird reason.
It's funny you mention that because the last Christmas that I was living with my folks, when everybody was kind of living under one roof, I believe the last New Year's we did that we were together, we actually spent it just playing Mario Kart in the N64.
Yeah, it's just awesome, isn't it? It's like it's a fun little thing to do.
Mario Kart.
But as a family, like it's so great just to get a tortoiseshell and just whack someone in the back of the head with it.
That's one of the quintessential. I was going to say that Mario Kart's kind of the quintessential party game, but the N64 is like the quintessential party console.
It really
is. You bring an N64 to a party full of 20-somethings, and it's about to get real. It's going to get real over there.
Because we're the ones who enjoy it the most. For sure. So many great multiplayer games.
What I was going to say was, because N64 had those 4 controller ports, and they really took advantage of having 4 controller ports.
I agree. They really did. So let's go to Travis next. Travis, your next one.
All right. Now, remember I was talking about how I did not get Castlevania Dracula X in '95. Let's fast forward 13 years later. I wanted a PSP for Christmas, and this is when I was married, and my wife, she got me a PSP. Not just any kind of PSP. It was the red one that came out when God of War came out.
See, that's not all bad, is it, Travis? I remember you used to say about bad things, but she did get you a PSP.
And she also got me a copy of Castlevania Dracula X Chronicles. And
hell yeah.
Now, that game was awesome. I unlocked everything. I played the original Dracula X on there, Rondo of Blood, and it was great. And I was so happy when I got that system and that game. I was like I was on cloud 9. And I think it's like the biggest, most memorable Christmas of all the years I've spent with her, because it was when we were the happiest.
Oh.
But let's hold on there a little bit, because a couple years later, I hate to end this section with such a down note. I'm so sorry. I ended up having to sell the PSP and all the games I had with it, especially that Castlevania game, because we needed money for bills because she wouldn't work, and we needed money badly. So I had to say bye-bye to it. Oh, it pissed me off. But it was still a really great Christmas that year when I got that. So that's something I'm always going to hang on to. It was really cool.
Hey, Xander, I got a Ghastly on trade.
Nice.
Yes. So let's go now to Xander. Actually, what's your next Christmas moment? Hopefully, we don't have any mean exes that you want to kill.
No. But I do have a really cool story. It's when I got my Sega Genesis.
Ooh.
And my Sega Genesis came with the epic Genesis 6-pack.
Xbox fanboy. So here's that. Xbox fanboy said to Travis, the moral of the story is, don't get married.
And I just got engaged. How funny is that?
You never learn, do you?
No way.
Xander, sorry.
No, it's all good. Actually, you know, what's funny is I actually sold my PSP and Dracula X a couple of years back when I was with someone to pay bills, so I feel your pain, Travis.
Yeah. Well, they didn't work and they were lazy?
Yeah, pretty much. But, but no, like, I got the Sega Genesis 6-pack, which came with 6 awesome games on one cart. Well, the thing is like, it was almost too good to feel like it's too good to be true. That's what I was thinking. Because I was like, man, there's no way that it would have 6 games on one cart. So what I thought it was almost going to be like a prize you would find in cereal. You remember when cereal actually had prizes?
Yeah.
I was like, it's probably one of those games like they choose randomly to put in the bundle. And I was sitting there looking at the games that came with Super Hang-On, Sonic the Hedgehog, Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, Revenge of Shinobi, and Columns. And I'm like, out of all these, I bet I'm getting Columns. I was like,
I love Columns. It's one of my favorite games.
But the thing is like I was thinking, I was like, that's not the game I want to have. You know, like between those 6 games, like come on, Columns compared to Revenge of Shinobi or Golden Axe, I was like, oh man. But I mean, I found out that all those games actually did come on the cart, and I did play Columns, and I love Columns.
I do as well. It's like, I actually favour that game more than Tetris, believe it or not.
Me too. I do too. I love the soundtrack.
I'll actually elaborate on your story as well on that, because my brother, one Christmas he got the Sega Game Gear off a friend of his, and what he did is he loaned the guy his Mega Drive for the Game Gear, and I played the hell out of it. And the one game that I loved so much, it had a pack of games, including Revenge of Shinobi, but I played Columns, and I played the crap out of that game to the point where I completed the game within a week. And I was just a young kid at the time. My parents thought I was going to get brain damage just from playing it all the time. And because of that memory, I purchased a Sega Game Gear and Columns from my local cash converters.
Nice.
So there's my memory there. Let's go back to Miguel.
Hold on, let me just finish this real quick. There we go.
Are you typing, Miguel?
Yes, I was typing. I had to concentrate because I didn't want to misspell anything.
It's probably that live sex cam business. I think it will be fruitful.
I'd say he did just get a new webcam.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not even a new webcam. My dad gave me his old webcam, and it's like it's like from 2006. It still works, but it's not very.
It's Miguel's excuse to show his junk to some lady friends. Hey, Miguel, I'm a fan of.
Look, I already explained it to you. I got it because you asked me if I had a webcam and a Google Plus account, so I assumed you were going to do some type of video service with I Got Gameplay, like a video, like one episode is going to actually be a video episode.
We are going to do that, a simultaneous video cast.
Oh, I would actually that. Like I said, I wouldn't mind doing that. It'd be the first episode of I Got Gameplay that I actually had to wear clothes for.
Oh, TMI.
And he says that I'm a pervert. Okay, you still don't beat me in terms of perverse. But yeah, go for it, Miguel.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got 9 minutes remaining. We're going to be going on to the archive stream in a little bit. So if you want to check out the rest of the show, you can do so by heading over to the archive at megapowersradio.com. I want to give a big thank you to Xbox Fanboy for going on this journey with us tonight. You've been amazing, asking tons of questions that we're able to ask for you, of course. And you just feel like part of the crew. It's nice to have you back. So go for it, Miguel.
Now, I've pretty much gone over all of the games in my personal life that remind me of Christmas. Is it okay if I talk about a Christmas-based game, maybe?
Yes, you can.
Okay, I had to look around because, to be honest, I try to avoid Christmas-based games mostly because Christmas has its place in terms of when Christmas needs to rear its ugly head, and it's between the end of Thanksgiving to, obviously, Christmas Day. So I don't go out of my way to play Christmas games during the summer because it just feels wrong, except during July when, they do that Christmas in July thing. But if there's one Christmas-based game that I can really pull out of my head that's worth playing, I'd probably say Batman Returns. That is.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
It's Batman Returns is technically a Christmas movie, and they do keep the Christmas theme in the Batman Returns game. And I've played multiple versions. I've played the original Genesis. I played the Genesis version, which is actually different from the SNES version. I've played the SNES version. I've played the Sega CD version, which actually is really awesome, especially the driving sections that they put into it. And my first encounter with Batman Returns was on the Game Gear. When I got my Game Gear, that was one of the first games that I actually got as a gift was Batman Returns, and I played that game nonstop back when I played my Game Gear. I mean, it's still a great game to go back to if I can fish out 6 batteries out of my storage. But yeah, Batman Returns, great Christmas themed game.
I love playing that on the Sega Mega Drive. I had so much fun with that. Believe it or not. So Jeff, your next one?
Well, I would have to say last year I got Tekken Tag Tournament 2 for Christmas. So that's another game I associate with Christmas a lot because I played the shit out of the Tekken Tag Tournament, the first one, and I wanted the Tekken Tag 2 when it came out, but I couldn't get it, and so I just asked for it for Christmas, and my mom got it for me again, and I played the crap out of that too.
Very much so. Braden, number 4.
Number 4 would have to go to, I guess, the Nintendo Entertainment System as a whole, as some of my earliest memories of playing games around Christmas time. We played the original Super Mario Brothers as well as the Duck Hunt combination. It's one of my earliest memories of any sort of game-related activity around the holiday season. But more importantly, I remember playing, does anybody remember that Looney Tunes related game, Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle? Anybody actually play that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
That is definitely something I played as a young tot, and let me tell you, it's more frustrating now as an adult than it was when I was a kid. You think it'd be the opposite way around, but many hours were spent playing that, not just around Christmas time, but regularly anyway. So actually, it's one of my earliest gaming memories ever. So it just so happens to be that it happened around the holidays, around Christmas time. Bugs Bunny, Crazy Castles, and Christmas.
Travis, what about you?
Well, this one, it started out being a disappointment, but it turned out to be really awesome. In 1992, I wanted Super Mario Kart. I wanted that game very badly. Did not get it, but I did get Mario Paint. And at first I was like, well, this is great, yeah, I'm not really an artistic kind of guy. But when I played that sucker, I was like, hey, this is actually pretty cool. I fell in love with that game. And for those of you who don't know Mario Paint, first of all, shame on you. But second of all, it came with that pack-in mouse and that hard plastic mouse pad. And you were just basically making all little drawings or making some animations. They even had a really cool mini game. It was Fly Swatter. I think it's what it was.
I played the crap out of that game.
Oh man, that was so much fun. And then, yeah, I mean, I really miss playing Mario Paint, and also had some really great songs in there too.
I'm surprised they haven't made some sort of Mario Paint. That'd be kind of cool. Like a new Mario
like
Paint.
The Wii U.
Yeah.
That would be great. They have a spiritual successor coming out for it. It's not really called Mario Paint. It was something else because people had the thing where they were making these really nice drawings on the Wii U gamepad.
They've released it already, and I've got a copy of it.
Oh, what is it called?
I actually forgotten the name of it. I believe it's like art edition for the Wii U or something like that. I might be wrong, but I do have a copy, and you get to use your stylus to play as you will, and make your crazy designs and drawings, and you can share them on the Miiverse. Believe it or not.
Cool. I'll have to look into that.
By the way, I had a female runner basically telling me that she's tired of wearing her swimsuit. And this is in Pokemon, people. I'm not making this up. This is before I battled her. That's kind of weird. If she actually got naked in the game, that would be even weird. I'll be like, okay, parents, do not buy this game for your children.
Now all the copies are going to be recalled so they can slap the M label on it.
You know what I mean?
Are you kidding me? They're going to sell out even faster.
Whatever, go ahead, man. But still,
yeah.
That's the Japanese for you.
Oh, Jap. You know what? That's the thing too. Over there in Japan, they get the better
cafe.
Here
I'm in a cafe and they serve special juice.
Giggity.
Giggity. So let's go on now to let's just shake it up a little bit. Miguel.
All right. Let me see. I'm looking around at. Honestly, here's the thing about Christmas games. Usually, a lot of the games that are done specifically for Christmas are. You know what? No, I know exactly which one that I'm going to name, and I'm going to beat Xander to the punch for this one. Because I know. You know which one I'm going to pull out then. This is going to be the last game I'm going to pull out, but I'm just going to say it. I despise this game more than anything else. Blue Stinger. Yeah, I will concede that if we're talking about Christmas, I need to mention that game because yes, it is based around Christmas and there are Christmas elements to it, and it doesn't shy away from the fact that it's based around Christmas. I just wish that game didn't suck more than the terrorists.
Oh.
It does have such a good Christmas song to it, and I do listen to it frequently every year. That is my Christmas song, The Blue Stinger.
As always, ladies and gentlemen, remember, you can check us out by going to the archive version on either on the IGG forum or on the IGG Facebook page, facebook.com/IGotGameplay. And as always, guys, for those of you who aren't going to stay with us, migrate yourselves over to the archive version. You can listen to it. And Xbox Fanboy, one last thing from him, which is Batman Arkham Origins is one of his favourite Christmas games.
Good choice.
Because it's set on Christmas Day.
Oh, is it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, wow.
So there we go, Xbox Fanboy. We'll see you guys next week, of course, for another live edition of I Got Gameplay. Currently set to 9 o'clock. Hopefully, when we give our big announcement, we'll be heading back to 8 p.m. as usual, guys. So just bear with us, as we are always dealing with our technical difficulties and whatnot from Blog Talk Radio. But let's, as we're counting down, let's move on to Xander. Then, Xander, give us your number 3.
Well, this is probably going to be my last one, because I can't really remember any more Christmas, but this is going to be a disappointment. I really wanted the PS1, the small PlayStation, and the reason why I wanted it is because if you guys remember when they were advertising that, they showed that freaking LCD screen all the time. And I remember my PlayStation, a little black piece, was getting loose, and it actually broke off. I had to super glue it back on so I could finish Mega Man Legends. And I got the PlayStation 1, and I was really excited about it. I got the PlayStation 1 that year with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 and Final Fantasy 9, and it did not come with the LCD screen. It was sold separately, and I was so disappointed about that.
Oh, man.
But, I mean...
Alright. Who else hasn't... well, Burhan had to go take a dump, so... who else hasn't said their number 3 yet?
Have we all?
I think we've all got number 3.
Oh, alright. Let's see. Burhan,
Oh, we can mention Nights in the Dreams, the Christmas levels.
Yes, you
Yes.
can. You can actually mention that. So, you guys, if you want to actually mention those, you can do. Who's
Go
on it
ahead,
next?
don't do that again. We were scared.
I did say I was going on the toilet break for a second.
Yeah, but you didn't say who was going to go next or who was in charge and stuff.
Okay.
He was so scared.
I
He was
thought-
trembling.
Okay, so let's go on to Travis. Travis, what's your next one?
You know what? You guys just took it from me. I was going to talk about Nights in the Dreams, the holiday levels.
So let's talk about your story then about it.
Well, actually, I downloaded the PSN version because, unfortunately, I did have a Saturn, but I never had got a copy of that game.
By the
And
way,
only way-
Xander, in a Pokemon update, I got a Destiny knot, and apparently, if you leave it with your 2 Pokemon that are breeding, you'll get a what's those glittery ones that they're called?
I have no idea.
Sparkle Pokemon or something, whatever the heck it's called.
The shinies?
The shinies. There you go.
Oh, nice.
1 out of every 100 Pokemon that you breed will become a shiny. Sorry, Travis, can continue, please.
Where do they come up with the names for these things nowadays?
They're very
Anyways.
limited edition, apparently.
Oh, there, apparently. Anyways, going back to Nights in the Dreams, I never had that game for the Saturn. And I think I recall, correct me if I'm wrong on this, the only way you could actually get the special holiday disc is it was like a special mail order through Sega.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why it's actually an incredible. It's one of the rarest games out there, not just for the Saturn, but I think it's like in the top 10 rarest games of any console.
Yeah. But anyways, if you download the game on the PSN or the XBLA, it also comes with those special holiday-themed levels. I think they're only activated if the system is dated for December 25th.
That's kind of funny.
I think. I don't know. I haven't tried it yet. But I will say this. If I can access those levels by cheating the system and thinking it's December 25th, I'm going to announce it right now. That's going to be a special edition of my show, Rose Card Let's Play, where I'm going to play the holiday levels of Nights in the Dreams.
You should do it as a Christmas edition.
That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to talk more about what I'm going to be doing on that show when we do our plug towards the end of this show.
Of course. So, Jeff, what about you?
I would have to say, the Home Alone games.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Elaborate.
Well, I played it at a friend's house, but I really liked it because, like, it was based off the movie, and I really like. That's the main reason why I played the games, because I loved the movie, so I got into the games.
Awesome. Okay.
See, that's one of those weird games that I've seen it on so many worst games lists, but I've already also seen it on so many good games lists in terms of, like, Christmas games. Like, half the lists will say, oh, it's one of the worst Christmas game-based games out there, and then some of them will go, oh, it's a great Christmas-based game. So I don't know if it's a good game or a bad game. The only thing I can really go off of is the AVGN review where he basically tore into that game.
Ah.
And that's probably why you see so many people knock it over, too, because, you know, a lot of people take the AVGN, like, advice to heart, you know.
Well, we were talking about AVGN about an hour before the show started, so we've got our own opinions in terms of the Angry Video Game Nerd.
Well, you can come out and say it if you want to say it. This is what this show is. It's kind of controversial. I do like the Angry Video Game Nerd. I just think at the moment he's not trying. That's my opinion.
I think, I don't know, it's just, he kind of seems to be going through the motions, at least in terms of his main videos. Like, he's got the vlogs where he does Let's Plays, which they're natural, I guess. They don't have the same humor that his other shows have. You know, you really do get a sense of that the real guy, the real James Rolfe, really isn't that much of a. He's completely opposite from the AVGN character. You know, very, very soft spoken, not as you know, not as vulgar as the AVGN. It's almost like a Clark Kent Superman deal.
Also got to keep in consideration that he's now a dad, so he's trying to not swear as much as he used to.
You know what? I can respect that if he just doesn't have it in him to keep up the whole verve of it. But then stop. Then, you know, it kind of reminds. It's like what the critic did. You know, he didn't have the feeling to do the Nostalgia Critic, so he stopped.
He still doesn't.
Yeah, and then he realized people weren't visiting his website, so he had to bring it back. And now he just does the Nostalgia Critic reviews whenever he can. He mostly just either does editorials or reviews of TV shows, like he did with the Last Airbender, Legend of Korra, Adventure Time, things like that. Like he doesn't even he puts out very little Nostalgia Critic videos, even though he said he would do it every 2 weeks in his return video. You know, he basically is just doing it just for the site hits, whereas AVGN, I don't know why he's doing it. I mean, maybe he's doing it for the same reason, but he just doesn't seem like he has the heart anymore. And if that's the case, I can respect that, but, you know, just end it then.
Maybe it's because of the site hits as well. Maybe James Rolfe wants to continue doing it because he knows that he's getting views on it.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, I mean, like, he's been doing the Angry Video Game Nerd for over 8 years now, and honestly, I mean, like, how far could you go with that anyway? You know, and especially with as many people that are, you know, doing their own parodies and, you know, doing their own versions of AVG. And I mean, we don't really see it as much now because, you know, the gaming community has kind of developed into their own thing. It's not like how it was, you know, years ago when everyone was, you only had it, the gaming community was only AVGN. Like, that's what people knew. But, you know, it's kind of like, I don't really see where you could keep going with it. I mean, how many more games can you review and talk about how they suck? You know, and still be creative about it. Because, I mean, let's not forget, it's not just James Rolfe that writes it. It's also Mike who helps write the script as well. So, I mean, both of them are probably just kind of like, well, we don't really know what else to do. I will say I can't remember what episode it was that he did a review for, but it was actually pretty good. It felt like old school AVGN, but then he had one that he did with the guy from the Troma films when he was doing Toxic Avenger, and that was the worst movie worst video I saw because it felt so forced.
Yeah.
It felt so like
it's like, I've got a celebrity now. Let's try and appease him and show him what we can do.
To be fair though, I think it was a matter of he had Lloyd Kaufman on there, and I believe him when he says that he's a fan of Lloyd Kaufman. So I think it was just a matter of let's get Lloyd on the on film and just let him do his thing, and we'll kind of bounce off of him. I don't think that was a scripted episode.
I don't think it definitely was either. Because like I said, it just felt
awkward.
It was really awkward.
I agree. His recent Christmas episode was pretty good, where he talks about all of the requests he has. But I mean, that was more of just I wouldn't even say a filler episode. The ending I thought was pretty funny.
A lot of them nowadays seem like sort of tutorials or commentaries or vlogs. Do you know what I mean? They don't seem like AVGN videos, and I think a lot of what made him great was because he didn't have a cap. There was no filter. Nowadays, though, it just seems he filters himself. Again, it's not a bad thing. I'm not going to say how bad that is, and it is I'm trying not to do a bash, AVGN episode. I'm trying to more, as we are basically gamers first. We want to say about how James is a very talented individual, and he's just not. It just seems now that his videos are more throwaway now. Like,
he was you know what? I'll give him credit. He was a pioneer.
Yeah.
I mean, he started the whole internet reviewer thing. No one was doing video game reviews online. I mean, his original reviews weren't even online. Yeah. He recorded them on a VHS, and then once YouTube started to take over, he transported them over to YouTube, and then obviously got picked up by Game Trailers, and then Cinemassacre took off, and I mean, he's accomplished a lot in the 8 years he's been doing this.
Agreed.
I mean, if it's become to the point where he's just done with it, I would not begrudge him if he just stopped. You know, I'd rather see him stop than just keep going just because he needs the money, you know. It's also, by the way, I didn't even know this. Burhan brought it up. It's really unfortunate that he can't get a distributor for his movie. The movie's done. He just has no distributor to put it out.
Yeah, and that's, I think, where the big thing is at the moment. He wants someone to distribute it rather than have nobody to do it. I don't think he wants to put it out there online or
personally
self-distribute.
These episodes that you guys are going on about that seem kind of fillery, they've all kind of happened in the build-up to the movie, and it seems the longer the movie takes to come out, the more off the episodes seem to be, because they really seem to be filling time to the actual movie. Because, I mean, really, he was promoting the E.T. review, which is apparently a big part of the plot to the movie. That was like 2 years ago almost.
Yeah.
That he did the E.T. review will be done in the AVGN movie. I forget. It was Spielberg Games.
Yeah.
Whenever that review actually came out, it feels like it came out forever ago now. It's all been one big build-up to the movie.
And that's the thing, though. It's not... There's nothing going on now.
Mm-hmm.
I think I believe he's going to get to it at some point, but I think he's trying to... And I've done it myself. I couldn't find a distributor for a couple of movies that I did. And I was going to self-distribute and put them online. But at the moment, it's capital to have the capital to do that. And it's hard. You don't... Because I could take these two movies and put them out on YouTube, but I don't want to do that, if that makes sense. Because then the actors themselves wouldn't get money from it, and we as a company putting it together wouldn't get money from it.
You could do BOD, Burn on Demand. You know, people order it through a website, and then you just burn it specifically for them.
We'll need to talk a bit more about that, but that's one of those things. So I can understand as him as a creator, and I'm the same. My goal is to basically make a living out of making movies. You know, not just as an actor, but to direct and write my own stuff. And this Job for Hire is one of the big games in doing that. And so I can understand where James is coming from, because he doesn't want to be at that station where he's like, if I just throw it out there, people are just it's not gonna really do anything for me, you know. And his goal, and we all know his number one goal is to be a filmmaker. That's what he wants to do. And partly Cinemassacre is like that, but the problem is he's not famous for filmmaking. He's famous for AVGN. So in a want and need, he feels like, well, this is what's making me the money. I've got to keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the same thing with any of us, to tell you the truth.
I don't know. He was one of the first channels, like on the YouTube channel I use now, that I really started following and made sure to watch the reviews all the time when they came out.
He's the reason why I watched the Nostalgia Critic.
I'm still subscribed, 7 years later, and I'm still subscribed.
Yeah. So, you know, and the same thing, he's the reason why I watched Nostalgia Critic. I watched Doug Walker because of the AVGN conflict he had with the Angry Video Game Nerd.
And I think in comparison, James still does a better job with AVGN than Doug's doing with the Nostalgia Critic. As much
Agreed.
as both of them have been kind of watered down, and maybe their hearts aren't in it anymore, I still think James has a little bit more passion in his series than Doug does. Doug clearly doesn't want to be doing the Critic anymore, but he...
I'm just doing it because the fans want him to. That's why.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, and I think James still actually does have a passion for the AVGN. There's a big difference there. Huge difference.
That's why I think he stopped making the group movies as well, because he felt like he was saturating the character. Well, that and also a lot of bitching was happening.
Yeah, there was a lot of politics with a lot of the producers with those group movies.
Yeah, they didn't want to do it unless they were making money doing it, even though they were getting paid. They basically paid for these guys' travel to come to that location so that Doug could shoot his movies with them.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, Doug basically would not take any sort of input. He basically, the producers, the whole thing from at least, and I'm going by what Spoonie said in his commentary for To Boldly Flee, is they wanted to do their own. They wanted to do actually what they did for the 4th year anniversary was they all wanted to do their own movies and then maybe put them together as a compilation. And Doug was like, "No, this is my movie. I'm writing it. I'm getting you guys together. I'll pay you. We're doing this." And he didn't take any sort of input from the other producers. This was basically just his thing, and it rubbed a lot of those producers the wrong way.
Well, say if we did a Fanboys movie, right?
Yeah.
And I was writing it. Would you guys basically want to put your input in to save your characters and stuff and to make sure that you guys are utilized correctly?
It depends. If I thought the character, you know, if I had an idea for the character, if I had an idea for the character, I'd maybe ask about it first. But I don't know, if you were writing it, then yeah, I guess it's kind of your thing. But you also got to keep in mind he was also writing and directing and producing it.
No, I totally agree. I write with this job for hire, and some episodes I write, direct, produce the bloody things, and act in it, and it's a fucking pain in the arse.
Vanity project.
Well, I would say it's a vanity project, but it's also something that I hold dear. It's something I was working on for years, and if it was that much of a vanity project, Miguel, why would I let you write for it?
Fair enough. I shouldn't bite the hand that feeds me.
Well, not really, because I'm not even feeding you. But in the end, I think I kind of feel that they're in their right to criticise Doug, but at the same level, being someone who's in that position that he's in, if that makes sense, when it's your baby, it's very hard to let go. Yeah. So that's my 2 cents on that.
What happened there? I know he's doing the Nostalgia Critic again, but he put it away to pursue a new project. Whatever happened
Demo
to
reel.
that?
The project sucked.
Yeah,
it was just so terrible that they scrapped it immediately, practically?
No,
yeah.
they kept it going for nearly a year, I think.
Really?
No,
it wasn't gone that long. He was gone for like half a year.
Yeah, it was 6 months then.
Guys, it was about 6 months, because he killed the critic in October, and I think by February he was back. So October, November. No, it was about 3 months, 3 or 4 months. Yeah. So he tried demo reel. It sucked. It didn't get any views, and the views it did get, people just were trashing it. So he had no choice. He had to bring the critic back to say,
what was demo reel? Was it a Mad TV-esque sketch comedy attempt?
It was supposed to be a Mad TV sketch comedy. Then it turned into a story-based show where his character was supposed to be this child star who did like a Jingle All the Way type film with Arnold Schwarzenegger. When it evolved into that, you know, because at first when they were going to do loads of sketches and stuff, and each person were going to utilise their own character doing certain sketches, people didn't like it. They were like, well, you know, if we want to see Doug Walker do sketches, he's got like a number of characters already. You know, we don't want to see him try and parody things in order to up his own dick. So that didn't work. And again, I'm not hating on Doug at all. Then they changed it into more of a definitive sort of comedy, and that didn't work. And again, it had a cameo from Doug's brother, who was he was the Irishman, wasn't he? The Irish fisherman.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they, you know, the show was German. That was it. And the show was doing it wasn't making well on the views, but it was starting to go somewhere in a certain direction. Then they canned it. And a lot of it was, the thing I always say with shows, and the same thing happened for this job for hire, there's teething problems. You know, I'm learning how to edit at the moment and direct and write and produce these projects myself, and there's going to be a learning curve. And I think with the 6 months that Demo Reel was on, they didn't allow Doug, the fans were just way too critical to allow Doug to have the learning curve. And it just destroyed the whole thing. And so now what was Demo Reel is essentially now the new Nostalgia Critic show.
Yeah, because a lot of those actors are still with him doing stuff.
And I understand totally. He wants them to make money. They're his friends. You know, he's gained a rapport with them. They're people that work with him. Now they're synonymous with the Nostalgia Critic. Even though in a sense they just, I don't know, to me, they don't seem like Nostalgia Critic characters.
No.
And they could have easily been utilised to do other things, but instead he's chosen to keep them around, which again, that's all on him. And I don't see a problem with it. It's the same thing I probably would do with most of you guys. If like we did a project and it didn't go well, I'd still want to do some other stuff with you guys because it's, you know, there's a relationship there. Yeah, it's a relationship there, and we're all friends, and that's, I think, part of what he's got going on with his guys. And yeah, and again, as I said, I'll give a shout out to him. No issues whatsoever. I don't hate his current product. I just feel like the Nostalgia Critic itself, he's working a little bit too more on making it showy and flashy than actually understanding that there was a certain context and tone that he took on when playing that character and when doing these Nostalgia Critic skits, in a sense. and that was he was being critical of the movie, and he was actually playing his character. Now it seems like Nostalgia Critic and everything else, which kind of
different.
Yeah, it's not. It's basically everything that made Demo Reel bad has been transplanted over to Nostalgia Critic.
It's Demo Reel under a Nostalgia Critic lens, practically. You go, look, it's still the Nostalgia Critic.
Yeah,
I'm still doing this.
It's poorly paced, is what it is for me. I think that's the biggest problem because he'll do the part of the review and then just stop the review just to do this overly long skit that just, to me, the humor just isn't there for the length. Like it's
they never are.
That's the thing. There's a difference between cutaway gags and elongating a skit. If you're doing a skit show, that's where those skits would probably work well in.
Yeah.
He's trying to convert these cutaway gags into skits.
There's a difference between, it's like the difference between, look at Spoonie. Spoonie has the perfect balance. He has his cutaway gags, but they're long enough to be funny, but short enough to not, they're long enough to have a point, but not short enough to where you lose the humor.
Yeah.
It's just there and then boom. Whereas with the critic, he'll completely stop the pace of the review just to do like this 10-minute long bit, which I'm sure you could have gotten that same feel and those same jokes if you'd have just evened it out more. And he's getting better. I'll say this: he's getting better with it. His recent Man of Steel review was actually pretty good for what it was.
I actually attest that a lot more to Angry Joe, in a sense, because Joe was kind of doing his thing from his home. He kind of overkilled it with the daddy issues thing, but it was like every minute the critic would either do, they would like start the review off with him and the guy doing the Superman thing. Oh, what was his name? He's from, he does the Superhero Cafe and I believe he illustrates and he also does the voiceovers for it. And that's part of howitshouldhaveended.com. He was guesting in it. So, they did the Superman Batman skit and that, it kind of worked and it kind of didn't. But the review in general was more sort of, the pace was working with the critic and Joe going back and forth, explaining why he didn't like it, and Joe trying to convince him to like it. And it worked because of the dynamic that was going on, not because of the way it was framed or the shots were working, etc. But again, it's not enough to stop me from watching it because I still do catch them. But I kind of prefer his vlogs, but a lot better because they remind me of the old school Nostalgia Critic, in a sense. There's no cutaway gags; it's more sort of commentaries.
The thing is, for me, is I watch his shows religiously.
Yeah.
Because every week he comes out with a new episode, I watch it, and it's like 1 week it's a review, the next week it's an editorial. I kind of like that pacing because it gives him a little chance to like make these reviews. I mean, yeah, they're very flashy. I get that, but the time that he spends to try and make these reviews for these episodes, I mean, I'm glad he just takes up this format. But the only thing is, there's other characters that he has done that he doesn't really do anymore because he's always focused on being the nostalgia critic.
Yeah, like video game confessions and stuff like that. You don't do much of that anymore.
You know what? The last time you seen, what's that guy's name from Video Game Confessions? What's the guy's name?
What, the bartender? Yeah.
Dominic. The last time we saw Dominic was in the review for The Shining.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I miss Dominic. I miss that guy with the glasses. Or Ask That Guy, whatever, that segment. And Chester T. Bum. I miss
Chester
these
A.
guys.
Bum.
Yeah, he still does bum reviews, though. He still does
them. Yeah, these other characters, I mean, it's like, bring them back. I mean, I know it's going to overwork your workload, but maybe instead of like doing Nostalgia Critic all the time, 1 week do Nostalgia Critic, next week Ask That Guy, and then just do that. I just want to see his other characters that he has done.
I think we've turned this into more of a sort of a bitch fest, haven't we?
I love them.
Having a very civil discussion about the love of both the Angry Video Game Nerd and the Nostalgia Critic, and our heritage with them and where we think that their products have gone. That's a totally fair analysis.
And we're talking about it because we like them and we're passionate about their shows.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they make Christmas specials.
Yeah, and to be fair though, I think we've run out of Christmas games to really talk about. I mean, when we start considering talking about Die Hard as a Christmas themed game, I think we're pushing it.
Well, and my number one, which is Mario 64 for Inside the Castle Walls, as the new official Christmas Carol of 2013, as me and Burhan mentioned hours ago in preparation.
I'm actually going to find the acoustic version of that so that we can actually change the theme over, like the theme music for one night.
Yes. I still say one of my favorite themes from that game is the Jolly Roger Bay theme. It's just a very tranquil theme.
Very much so. So let's go into that. What would you? We'll end the sort of nostalgia critic AVGN talk quickly with a question to every one of you guys and see if you can answer it. What do you think these two guys need to be fresh for the new year, for 2014? Give them some advice.
Tone it down a little bit, especially the nostalgia critic. I love that he makes it more like an event. It seems like he makes these really over the top reviews, and I love them. I fucking love everything that he does, but just gotta tone it down a little bit because for all the production value you're throwing into this episodes, that's making your workload even heavier. So just try to tone it down a little bit, kind of make it a little more simplified, I think. As for the AVGN, I think for him, if the movie is already done, it's all edited and it's ready to go, just needs a distributor, try to, make more episodes, but just like with the nostalgia critic, don't make it such a major thing. Just make it kind of a simple type thing.
So you think simplicity would probably be the easiest thing, and with Doug, it's sort of like making, instead of doing so much nostalgia critic, sort of switching it up. What about you, Brandon?
I don't really think James is doing anything all that bad. I'm sure he's filling time until he can find a way to release his movie, but I don't think he's really, in comparison, changed his format terribly so where I'm having a hard time watching his reviews. I stopped watching the Nostalgia Critic. I haven't watched it really since it came back because it does have that demo reel style format to it. That's not what I started watching his reviews for. I started watching them for basically they're more highly edited, simplistic video blogs that are done in character with him talking about specific movies. Negatively, but funny in his version of the Nostalgia Critic character. I guess it's kind of impossible for him to do that. I don't know if the people he's working with, I don't know if he has them under contract or anything like that. He might just be having them star with him because, he did promise them big deals with Demo Reel. So I don't see him going back to his old format, but I would like to maybe see just like a throwback episode where there's nothing crazy or 1,000 different plot points or Family Guy-esque cutaway gags going on. Just a simple, straight-up, original Nostalgia Critic review, like circa 2008, 2009.
Agreed.
What about you, Xander?
I have to say I agree with you guys about the simplicity because, that's really what made us watch to begin with. The videos had good editing. There's no doubt about it, but they were very simple and very humble, and comedy felt fresh. And I really think maybe they just needed to hang it up for a little while and just recharge the batteries.
I have to agree with you on that one. And Miguel?
I'll say this about the Nostalgia Critic. I get that he wants to make real content instead of just doing these reviews. I get that. And honestly, I know he probably did what he made the decision he did out of burnout, but if he could figure out a way to do the reviews separate and then do whatever little project he does, whether it be Demo Reel, whether it be anything else, I actually would prefer that. I think this whole trying to mishmash the Demo Reel stuff with the reviews, I think it's alienating a lot of fans. And I think you're still he's still going to have his diehards, but there's still going to be a lot of people that look at it the same way we do, that it just isn't the same. And I don't think he knows yet how to. I don't think he knows yet how to mix those two aspects together the way somebody like a Spoonie or a Brad Jones does.
But as I said, with Brad Jones though, he still shoots it on a normal cam and does his reviews with him sitting on the chair. He doesn't do anything different. He hasn't made the product look.
The Cinema Snob is most certainly still the Cinema Snob.
Yeah, and he hasn't done anything, he hasn't upgraded his equipment, he hasn't made anything look amazing. It still looks like it's done on Windows Video. But on the same level, that's what makes him great.
Yeah, but when he does, when he does do that, you could tell it's by somebody who knows how to film, because the Cinema Snob has filmed several movies under his belt. He knows how to pace a movie. He knows how to work the camera. I think Doug clearly is still learning how to do that, and I think if he were to do demo reel and just stick to it, I think it could grow. He didn't give enough time for something like that to grow into a good product. I think he really, if he split himself up and kind of paced himself out better, I think he could salvage a lot of his work. In terms of AVGN, it's hard to say. The best thing I could say, honestly, upgrade the nostalgia. Go after more obscure, bad titles. He's done all of the ones that people know about. I still would love to see him expand into more like N64 or Dreamcast, maybe.
Absolutely.
Or maybe go into the PS1 era, because he still has he very rarely does PS1 titles. I think the only one off the top of my head that he really talked about was probably Independence Day.
Yeah, he's barely scratched into Nintendo 64 as well. That whole era of gaming, I don't really think he's touched very much at all.
Yeah, I think he could really help himself out by branching into that, because I think he's pretty much sucked the SNES, NES library dry at this point.
I think it's at a point where he might need to modernize the games he reviews. Sure, it started as a retro gaming show, but I think it kind of has to evolve generation to generation to keep the comedy and the material fresh.
Not to the point where he's doing, PS2 and Xbox titles, but like I said, go up to N64 and Dreamcast.
That's still a generation or two up from what he's been doing for the past couple of years, though.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Even though he's done all these episodes right now, I mean, he's been doing this since, 2006?
Mm-hmm.
Here we are in we're heading into 2014, and he's still doing NES reviews. I think we've kind of covered all the bases right there.
I think he's covered nearly every shitty game in his collection, hasn't he?
Not yet, because he's still, it's like I said, he still hasn't done anything in terms of the PlayStation systems, really. Because he's only done Independence Day, like you said. So, and there's tons of PS1 games that are shit. And I can't believe he hasn't even touched on them yet.
I think for him, I don't know, maybe, you know what? That's a question, if you listen to this show, Doug, or if you listen to this show, James, of course, James Rolfe, then give us some feedback. Let us know. We're not, as I said, we're not bitching about your product. We're not trying to be angry fans. We're debating and wondering exactly what's in the future for you guys. What do you want to do? How are you going to actually do that? And why do you feel that your product is suffering, or do you feel that you're taking it to another level? We'd love to hear from you. You can basically get a hold of us on facebook.com/IGotGameplay. That's out to every one of you guys. Let us know what you think of these shows. And it's kind of a nice little note to end the show on as well. And
yeah, because my voice is starting to go out.
The one person that we haven't asked, Jeff.
Well, you guys might hate me, but I haven't seen either one of them. Their videos.
That's fine. That's totally fine. We don't hate you for it.
Not at all.
But if anything,
I've read Nostalgia's columns on the websites and stuff about games, but that's basically all I've basically seen of his stuff. I didn't even know he had a YouTube channel.
Well, yeah, Travis, you were going to end your thought?
I was just going to say, if you haven't seen any of their episodes, which, like we said, that's fine. If anything, this should hopefully motivate you to go check them out.
Yeah, and that's the thing, guys. Any of you out there who want to actually check out their episodes. I look at loads of Doug's past stuff, even the stuff that's really badly edited. I look at it as a homage to what he can do, because in those, I think he concentrates a lot more on acting and playing his nostalgia critic character than he does, like directing and trying to frame the shots. And because as a director, and I'll let you guys know in on this process before we end this. As a director, you've got to look at the script. You've got to frame it shot by shot. You've got to look at locations. You've got to make sure those locations meet basically what you're going to put in the script. Some guys even storyboards. So if you look at storyboards, they make sure that everything is storied up and all the characters and everything's there, people in for the scenes. You've got to be on 100%. As an actor as well, he has to learn his lines. So he probably does it skit by skit. So he films each individual skit before he actually frames up the meat of the episode. Right? So doing that, writing it, directing it, starring in it, takes its toll on a person. For me, at the moment, I'm trying to get out this Job for Hire episode 3, and I don't want to put it out there until it's properly finished. I'm giving myself another week. Next week is going to be the week where the episode gets released as part of Christmas week. So guys, check all that out as well. And let's put that onto the plugs, actually. So start with you, Xander.
Well, let's see. I have a YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Xander Scullion, and I just put out my Christmas special with my bandmates. We all exchanged gifts, and it's a pretty good video. There's some really, really funny spots in it. And also, I host my own podcast, Excess Gaming Podcast. That's on Podomatic.com, or you can subscribe to us on iTunes. And pretty soon you'll start seeing some of my material hop up on Retro and Limb, because I just joined the network just yesterday.
And again, the network, the most famous person on the network who's known for his stuff is a guy called Halfbit. If you haven't checked out his stuff, if you're into that old AVGN nostalgia or nostalgia critic, you will love this guy's stuff, because he actually fits his cutaway gags, his skits in very well with the entire framework of his episodes, and he does them within a span of a week, I believe, because he does like an episode a week. He's amazing and a very talented individual. Daniel O'Neill, I'm talking about you, dude. I'm one of your biggest fans, and great to say as well, he is a friend of mine as well. Check his stuff out. He's amazing. And let's go to Miguel.
www.fanboysanonymous.com. Check out 90s Kid Presents. It's my blog. I really don't have much to say. I haven't really updated it yet. I've just been really busy at work. But I'm hoping to finish up my top 16 games of the late 90s list soon. I've got the first 2 parts up. I'm working on part 3 right now, so there's not much I could say about that.
And he's also written a script for this Job for Hire episode 3, which is going to be debuting next week, and episode 5 as well, which
I sent him episode 5, and I've got 6 and 7 in my head. I just got to type those out.
Yeah, I'm giving you some time because I know you're kind of burnt out with writing at the moment. So
it's not as easy as I thought it would be. No,
it isn't, and I agree with you. The fact that you actually took a lot of weight off me in terms of writing these episodes helps me a great deal to direct and produce these things.
Well, when you finally get off the ground and start making some type of revenue, at least I can put my name on it and be like, hey, I actually wrote episodes of this guy's really famous TV series.
Oh, yeah, but if I make revenue off of it, I'm going to hire you, dude. Come on.
Oh, of course.
That's the way it always works. With everybody that I work with, the same thing goes for IGG. If this starts making revenue, everybody's going to benefit. Braden.
Of course, as usual, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's www.youtube.com/SpoodBeast. Also, you can, if you feel like it, follow me on Twitter @SpoodBeast as well. And just keep continuing to support this entire panel of people on this great podcast, I Got Gameplay. We love having viewers. We love interacting with the audience. And it's fun chit-chatting with gaming.
And,
fun.
Since the group has actually come to fruition, we've actually managed to amass a heck of a lot more viewers. More people are coming onto the Facebook page now as well. And I want to thank, everybody that's basically supporting us, because without you, we'd be nothing. We'd just be a bunch of guys talking to ourselves. Mm-hmm. So, Travis?
And I've done podcasts like that before. It's not fun.
First episode of Excess Gaming Podcast.
Yep, it's just me.
Travis?
Okay, you can, see here. You can check out my YouTube channel, got 2 of them. Got www.youtube.com/rose-colored-reviews, a show where I take a look at classic video games, television shows, and movies, and through rose-colored lenses, I see if they still stand the test of time. And I got this other one. It's www.youtube.com/rose-colored-let's play. And I'm doing something very special next week. Since it's going to be Christmas, I'm going to be doing what I consider one-off games, which means I'm going to be playing these games just for the fun of it. It's not a serious playthrough. Not going to make a series out of it. And each day this week is going to be a particular game. And Wednesday, being Christmas, and we just talked about this earlier in the show, I'm going to be playing the Nights into Dreams, the Christmas levels. That's going to be the Christmas Day episode. But you can also look forward to me playing Dragon's Lair, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Wii Sports, and Batman Returns. Check it out all next week, Rose-Colored Let's Play. And also you can find me on Facebook at TravisScott79, and I'm part of fanboysanonymous.com, and also recently have joined Retro Unlim. So check it out.
And guys, if you want to take a look as well, make sure that you keep listening to I Got Gameplay, fanboysanonymous.com, Everything Geek, and Retro Unlim, I'm a proud member of them, youtube.com/nerdgenius and nerdgenius.com. Actually come onto their banner now. They are an amazing site, great people to work with, and extremely supportive as well. They're gamers who love what they do, and, we all love you guys as well at the same time. As always, guys, from, Braden, did you promote your newest video?
My newest video?
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't, but it's up on when you click on my channel, if you are not subscribed, of course, it is the automatic featured video that plays. The Rosalina update to Super Smash Bros. It's brand new right on the channel. So those who follow the link will be able to see it immediately. So pretty easy plug there.
Jeff, you got anything to plug?
Well, I'm on Facebook and Twitter. I just don't know the URLs. And I have a YouTube channel where I had a review of Blue Gender, the anime. I'm thinking of writing more reviews as time goes by, and my YouTube username is Legendary Brawly. But that's all I have right now.
Great, guys. And just remember to stick to January the 1st. Retro Unlimited are going to have a special announcement. Make sure you guys check that out. Shout out to Davis as well for his amazing Kickstarter. I'm so proud of everybody that's donated. Shout out to everybody on this show. Xander Scullion, Miguel Leon, Jeff Crook, Travis Goss, Braden Mayhew. Shout out to Anthony Mango. Anthony, we love you. And also shout out to everybody else that has supported us over the last 2 years. Believe it or not, the show has been running for 2 years. And remember that we've got gameplay. Have you?